Welcome to the den. Big talk, no bark. Welcome to the den. Kings don't flinch, we don't follow trends. Truth gets raw when the lions defend. So take a seat, speak up where the real men vent. Mic on fire, wisdom in the pen. Respect ain't given, gotta earn it in the den. No mask, no lies, no safe pretend. This ain't a show, it's the lion's den. I've been stamped up, borders don't bind me. Dropping truth bombs from Ghana to the Thai seas. YouTube sold you dreams of beach queens and flights, but I show you real talk, not thumbnails and hype. Ain't about flexing, I'm exposed in the game, where culture meets choices, not clout for fame. Black man travels, I elevate the route, not just girls in the frame, but what manhood's about. Borders don't bind me, dropping truth bombs from Ghana to the Thai seas. YouTube sold you dreams of beach queens and flights, but I show you real talk, not thumbnails and hype. Ain't about flex, I'm exposing the game, where culture meets choices, not clout for fame. Black man travels, I elevate the route, not just girls in the frame, but what manhood's about. What manhood's about. What manhood's about. I'm fearless with the data, cut from a rare breed. Cyber-trained vet with the tools that you need. Break bread on the mic, blueprinting your mission. From crypto to code, I decode your position. Been married 7 deep, still sharp as a tack. Talk legacy, freedom, how to never look back. Podcast ain't therapy, it's elite consultation. You step in here, respect the conversation. Warrior poet, seasoned vet with scars and lessons. Call me Ronin Lone Wolf, but I lead the pride. Gulf War scars and a sharper mind. From Somalia's heat to boardroom biz, I've lived 10 lives just to speak like this. PTSD in my rear view, still moving with poise. Now I show these young kings how to silence the noise. No gimmicks, no scripts, just war-tested truth. This ain't YouTube clout, this is mentoring youth. Big talk, no bark, welcome to the den. Alpha minds only, we don't blend in. Voice to the voiceless, fatherhood and grit. Step to the mic and don't ever quit. And don't ever quit. Welcome to the den. Welcome to the den. Alpha minds only, we don't blend in. Voice to the voiceless, fatherhood and grit. Step to the mic and don't ever quit.
Let's get right to it, because I'm going to say what I got to say, and I don't care what nobody can say. There's no consequences to my action, baby. Like I said, I'm fearless, and I'm going to say exactly what I want. I don't care about the consequences, because there should be no consequences. Free speech means nothing if you only protect safe speech. The true test is whether you will protect speech, the speech that you hate, because if you don't, eventually they'll go after the speech that you love. I can drop the mic right there. Ain't no debate. It's over. I'm done.
Trash. You good? Okay, so let me say this. Is it freedom of speech, or is it the right to work and repercussions of what you say? That's the biggest thing. So don't get it confused. You have the freedom of speech.
No,
but there are limitations on where you can speak and why, by employer, traditional, whether it's going to defame the company that you work for. At the end of the day, you still got to worry about who's paying your check. And if you ain't working for yourself, you got to understand that those board members and everybody else have things that they got to answer to. And if you're a popular enough figure, you're going to wind up bumping heads with the company you work for. So if you open your mouth nowadays, especially with Donald Trump in office, which we're going to go through and show you some videos where it's contradictory, because Donald Trump was a purveyor of wanting to have free speech with no consequences. Charlie Kirk, the very person that they were talking about, was a person about the right to speak, the right to say whatever you believe without any consequences. So you got a person that people are commenting on right now that are getting you fired based on who you work for.
The thing is, as long as you aren't saying something against your job that you work for, which I know that you work, and so you got to do that. Other than that, anything you say should be limits. There's no way your job should come.
I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree.
Charlie Kirk.
All right, go ahead, Kunal. Jump in.
No, I mean, people need to understand the freedom of speech comes with consequences. You can't just say whatever you want and think that nothing's going to come back and get you. Just like if you're on the street talking shit to the next man, it has consequences. The stuff you say and the stuff you do has consequences. So same thing applies online. You can't just say whatever you want and think that you will not be touched. And the fact that you work for a company, guys, all those company mandates that you sign off when you sign that contract or you work for that employer, you're there representing the company on and off the clock. So the stuff you say will come back to bite you. So always be mindful that you can't just go ahead and speak free willy and think that there's no consequences behind what you say. So I disagree with that.
So the thing is, my stance is the principle of free speech means that people must allow the express of speech even when it's unpopular or offensive. Because if not, who dictates what is free speech and what is not? Meaning, let's say this. You get online, you online now, and you say something about white people. And a dude come to work and say something about black people. And your boss just don't like black people. And they say to you, what you said was offensive. And you're like, hold up. What I said was offensive. Who determines what's offensive? I got one real quick for you if I can.
Yeah, I got a video ready to go.
I'm gonna do this one real quick, and I want to know how you feel about this, because if you came to work and they said, well, let me just play it real quick.
Administration and President Trump, they're trying to strip refugee status of the 500,000 Haitians. I mean, that is just grotesque, I would say. And so I think every single one of them has to be returned back to Haiti. By the way, it's like this great contradiction. Haiti is a wonderful place that everyone should go visit, the left tells us, but they don't want Haitians in their neighborhood. It's like, okay, well, which one is it exactly?
Haiti is an amazing place. It's the best place ever. It's not a shithole nation at all. It's incredible. Stephen Colbert actually goes on vacation there. But everybody in Haiti needs to get out immediately because it's exactly so terrible, right. And you have to pay for it.
It's so wonderful that they have to be allowed to leave to your community, but not my community.
So, I just hope that this last 2 hours, that every member of Congress sees what you said. I was like trying to keep up with your analysis, which is the sharpest I've ever heard on that subject.
So what if they said that and you said, I don't agree with them. I'm Haitian. This shouldn't be. And you say there's consequences to the words you said, Kanal. We agree with Tucker, but there's consequences to your words. See, once you start putting up a frame about who can say something and who can't say something, if I agree with Tucker and I agree with Charles Kirk, and I can say, well, your words are inflammatory, bro. What they saying is the truth.
Again,
they're saying is wrong. And
you can say whatever you want to say, but there's consequences behind what you say.
So if you came in and said, I'm Haitian, I defend myself, and they say you fired, that's fine.
I'm at a point in my life where, I'm not going to be offended by what people say. My thing is, do not touch me.
But it's not your offense. I'm saying if you defend yourself, if you say that I don't believe that, and they say it's your job, we don't care what you don't believe.
One thing is, too, people are going to have a perception, judgment about you, period. I cannot change that. No, I'm not going to waste my time nor energy to change that. So it's like, hey, he could think whatever he wants. I could care less. He's not the first and not the last to talk shit about Haitians. I'm sorry. So there's nothing that he can say that's going to make us feel bad. It's like, whatever. You can feel the fuck you want. Now, again, what you say has consequences, because just because I don't care, Jean-Pierre may have a problem with that. Jean-Pierre may come and see you with a machete. Jean-Pierre may take action on you, but that's not me. So again, you just have to be mindful of what you say and how you say it, because again, at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want. But there's consequences that comes behind that. Are you prepared for that? Are you willing to die on that hill on what you said?
Who determines those consequences? Meaning,
Life.
he just said it. So he don't have a freedom of speech.
We
You
have
just said
freedom
you
of
don't
speech.
care what people say.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Look, listen again. You can say whatever you want. No one cannot stop you from saying what you want to say. However, there's consequences to what you say.
But here's the thing. Let me go ahead and play what the law says and a lawyer speaking, and then we're going to decipher it a little bit more. Let me play this one.
To print a poster for a Charlie Kirk memorial. Office Depot responded, calling that behavior unacceptable and insensitive. In the last week, many people have been removed from their jobs after posting comments about Charlie Kirk's death online and through their social media. And now there are questions rising about the legality of an employee's termination. So we don't know anything about that. That's why we bring in our 9 News legal expert, Whitney Traylor, because this is really a complicated situation that we've been reading about. So where does the analysis start? Like with employment law? Is that how it starts?
Well, it is complicated, and in a matter of 4 or 5 minutes, it's hard to get into all of it and all these various situations. But yeah, it really is. It's an employment law issue, but then there's a question, are we talking about public employees versus private employees? And if you're a public employee, because you have First Amendment rights against the government, so that becomes an issue. And then it's a question of, are you speaking as a private citizen or as an employee? Did it bring disrepute on the company? So each case is going to be different, but it is interesting, as we were talking on the break, how Charlie Kirk really stood for saying whatever offensive, rude, aggressive, whatever it may have been, and now people are saying, we don't want you to say anything about him, really trying to quash those First Amendment rights, which I think is a little disingenuous based on the circumstance.
So would a private company have more leverage, so to speak, to be able to terminate someone, or if they don't agree with their point of view? Is that even legal?
Yeah, I think that, well, it depends, I mean, on the various factors. But yes, most private employers are going to have more rights because most private employees are at-will employees. So that means they can be fired for a good reason, a bad reason, really no reason at all, as long as it's not discriminatory, based on protected traits or these kind of things. So there's certain protections. And in Colorado, it's interesting too, because which makes it complicated. I think 4 or 5 states have a lawful off-duty conduct statute, which says you can't be fired. It's also known as the smokers' rights statute. So you can't be fired for activity that's lawful that you engage in off-duty when you're not at work and you're not on site. So for example, if you smoke cigarettes, they can't fire you for that because that's a legal right. But there's all kinds of nuances to that, but that is one argument that you could make. In the Office Depot situation, I think the issue is a little more straightforward because they could argue, hey, this is insubordination, you didn't do your job, this wasn't hate speech targeted at you or a specific group, it was just this flyer. So there it's probably a little bit easier, but a lot of these situations are really nuanced.
Yeah, it's you didn't do your job in that respect, and that's a little. But part of it too is like when we talk about social media, you have to be careful if it's your private social media or jobs after posting comments about Charlie Kirk's death online.
Oh, sorry.
A bit easier, but a lot of this is part of our Bill of Rights. This
No,
is
I didn't stop.
Okay.
No, I didn't stop.
This is what America's about, is being able to do what you want and say what you want. But the company can then, of course, say, hey, this is bringing disrepute on the company. This is
reflecting on us.
It's reflecting on us. Are you, do you have your title in your social media? Is there a way that it could be tied to us? So that's, that's really the issue. And a lot of companies will have, these may be private policies. So they may have company policy about social media, use social media, because it could reflect on them. If you have a uniform, there's all these different factors. But because you're an at-will employee, I think the private employers, back to your question, Sam, really have more leverage, I think, than public employers.
And we have less than 30 seconds, but does that all supersede freedom of speech?
Well,
That's where it gets confusing to me.
Right. So with freedom of speech, it depends the way they do the analysis. So if you work for the government, the federal, state, city government, you do have these certain protections. And they actually said in the Fifth Amendment, you have the right to life, liberty, or property, and that can't be taken without due process. And they've said your job is your property right. But when it comes to speech, the question is, were you acting as a private citizen or as an employee? If you're acting as an employee, then they may be able to fire you. If you're acting as a private citizen, are you saying something that relates to the public concern? If so, you have more protections there. So the analysis is a little complex, but right now I think the takeaway is that, yeah, you do have these speech protections, but they're not absolute.
Yeah, there is so much more to get into with this because the Supreme Court decisions.
So I believe this. I can understand if you are in the military and you are in uniform and you say something, then that's an issue. But if you are in your work uniform, you work for McDonald's and you wearing your work uniform and you saying something while wearing that uniform, other than that, it shouldn't be done. Because once an employer starts punishing you for speech, people really no longer have real freedom. They have conditional freedom. And conditional freedom isn't freedom, it's permission. And permission can be revoked at any time.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, I've worked under contract where I was clearly stated the things that needed to be done by me during working hours. I do not work after hours. You are not going to keep me on the clock. You're not going to keep me attached to a laptop or a phone to where you can call me an emergency and I'm not going to get paid for it. That's the key word. When I'm off of work and I am clocked out, I am not getting paid by you. You don't get to rule my life when I'm not on the fucking clock. As long as you sign a uniform, as long as I don't have a uniform on.
Signed an employee handbook.
The employee handbook says
you signed an employee handbook that you will represent the company.
But I'm not an employee.
You're not representing the company. You represent yourself.
I'm not an employee after hours.
Correct.
What's wrong with you? You work for your company 24 hours a day.
Right now, I don't know where you guys have been for the past few days since the situation that happened with Charlie Kirk, whatever his name is. People have been getting fired, losing their jobs, saying the most reckless shit online, publicly, because they realize that, you know what, it's after hours. I can say whatever I want.
Reckless shit
Hold on. So how can someone get fired if they're saying things during off work time?
Why all of a sudden because Charlie Kirk died is it a problem? George Floyd
we're speaking about the current situation going on right now. People losing their job, people getting fired. Shit, Jimmy Kimmel just got his show canceled.
Oh, hold up. What we talking about Jimmy Kimmel? Let's go on to that. I got one for you. Hold up.
For that too.
Freedom of speech has consequences. The stuff you say, be prepared to die on that hill on what you say.
I'm dying on that hill because here's the thing. The principle of free speech means people must be allowed to express unpopular, even offensive views.
Correct.
Without the fear of the government or corporate retaliation. Because once punishment for speech becomes normalized, it stops being consequences and stops being censorship. If you ask anybody in the military, they say, what do y'all say? I may not believe what you say, but I go to war for you to say it. That's exactly what it is. And you want to talk about this? This is where the slippery slope starts, because you're saying people getting fired because of what happened. Let's talk about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel.
Free speech. I want to speak about Jimmy Kimmel because he has been pulled off air indefinitely over his comments in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. So let's take a listen to what Jimmy Kimmel said on his show.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
Okay, so that's what he said. Whether or not you think it was a insensitive joke, okay, I don't think that would have been the justification for saying that he now needs to donate to charity and lose his whole life. And this is what happened. He's taken off air, and some people are saying, hey, Candace, they did this to us, and you're not wrong. I just want the attacks on free speech to stop, okay? I want the reaction, if you're angry about what Jimmy Kimmel said, is for the free markets to take him out, right?
Exactly. Now, I'm going to keep her going, but it shouldn't be up to anybody to do it. It's the free markets. If they don't like what you say, they don't watch you. That should how it be. We don't see when you start policing free speech, which is what she about to talk about. Here's where the problem comes in.
He doesn't have a show because nobody's watching him anymore because they're so disgusted by what he said. That's what I want. I want us to be in control, right? That our solution to being angry at each other always seems to be, let's give the government more power, right?
This is what I'm talking about. This, when you say, oh, there's consequences, this is your consequence. Just like when it was consequences to 9/11, then we say, oh, we're going to give the government all this power. When you get to this and you say, I'm going to give the government all this power over free speech, this is what happens, because then the government starts to decide who can say something and who can't say something. And it matters what side. If you're on the right, then everything the left says is going to be an issue.
Right. Let's give the government more power. And that's what happened here. Okay. The chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, jumped up and he criticized Jimmy Kimmel's remarks. He threatened federal action.
The government stepped in to a private organization and said, if you don't do something about this, we are not going to let this deal go through. This merger will go through. That means you can't say something. Now, the government has involved themselves in your freedom of speech. That means if we don't like what you say, we can stop you business. You don't want that slippery slope, because when that happens, then everything gets shut down.
Against ABC affiliates who carried the show? What? Federal action if you carry the Jimmy Kimmel show? Does that seem right to you?
Nope.
Okay. Again, if you're on the right and you cheered this on, do you understand? We never, ever, ever should be applauding federal action when it comes to speech.
Right.
Okay. We're all losing. We are all losing. You have to wake up. But that's what happened. Brendan Carr of the FCC was joining Benny Johnson. And that's what he said, that he absolutely wants to make sure that people are not carrying this show anymore. And that after, one of the mergers that they did, I just see the same people are constantly being empowered. And I want to point that out to you because you have to be more conscious of that. It's like they use our emotions, left versus right, to manipulate all of us. And
this is what happens. Your consequences, you don't stand up for it, the government starts to dictate what you can and can't say. And so when you say, I'm Haitian and I think the Haitians are good. Oh, you know what happens? Oh, brother, we're going to fire you. We're going to get rid of you. Matter of fact, now they got a law, and I didn't bring this one up, where they say, you know what? We can revoke your citizenship. We can revoke your passport because, in a sense, we think you're having terroristic tendencies, and we can send you back to wherever you came from.
Yeah.
So you want to say something? You think you got consequences? Your consequences are, bro, we're going to revoke your American citizenship and we're going to send you back to the Bahamas or Haiti because we don't like what you said. And don't say it can't be possible, because they already doing it to people who have green cards, who already here. They say, we don't like what you're saying.
And that's why I tend not to say anything foolish.
Just think about what you just said. You just said you're going to hold up. You ain't fearless, brother, because what they did was, we're going to make you shut your mouth. You can't speak on what you think is true. And once people telling you can shut your mouth because we don't like what you say, you already defeated.
okay, first of all, again, people are going to have their own perception, their own judgment about a particular place, thing, or person. I'm at a point where I don't give a fuck. You could think whatever you want. You could have this perception you want. Dude, it's a waste of energy trying to change that. If you want to carry this certain thought process, you're more than happy to do that. Now, the thing is, I have boundaries. Once you pass that boundary, that's a whole different story. But if you want to just run your mouth, say what you want to say, understand that, hey, you can say whatever you want to say, but if I decide to act on what you just said, hey, that's the consequences that you're going to face.
But you're saying consequences on acting on someone else. What's the consequences on you? When you just
I could go to jail by putting this dude in the hospital.
No, I'm not talking about, no. What you're saying is the consequences of someone saying something to you. But what are the consequences when you say, Haiti is in a bad shape? And they say, bruh, you talking about Haiti now. We'll send your ass back there. See, that's different. You see, the problem is, it's cool. You want to give the consequences, but what happens when the consequences come back on you? When you say something that you just defend, like, I'm Haitian, man. I feel these people. You feel them. What you mean? And don't say it can't happen, because you can say something that has nothing to do with you. You can just say something in general. I'll show you what happens when you just say something in general.
Wait, man. Come on. I need to get in this.
Well, you should have got in, brother.
From the commissioner of the NBA.
Stop it.
When you're in the NBA,
I think you guys are delusional.
It's a lot of things that you want to say.
Look what my man Dwight Howard did.
But if you say it, there's gonna be repercussions. You could get in a lot of trouble. For example, a couple years ago when I played for the Houston Rockets, I tweeted "Free Palestine," and I dang near got kicked out the league for it. Less than 10 minutes after I tweet that, I get a call from the commissioner of the NBA.
Stop it.
Agents, people like working with my foundation at the time. Wow. You got to erase this tweet. You got to take this down. You're going to get it. I'm like, what did I do that was so bad?
Can somebody explain to me?
Yeah, can somebody explain? And it was just like, because I went against the grain. I said something that people didn't like, and now
not people didn't like, they didn't like.
So now it's like I got to stand on what I believe and how I feel, and not go back on it.
So what you're saying is you don't stand on what you believe. You scary, man. Scary.
No, I'm not scared. I'm just at a different point in my life where I have to be mindful of what I say. The type of person
that to do with being at a different point in your life and having the government or your company run your life? That's the difference. You're letting somebody else dictate and run your life for you. And this is why I'm saying that. Look at what the FCC threatened ABC for to force them. Listen to the terminology and the words that are being used in this video.
Right to say what you want,
but you're
not
forgetting about the threat,
right.
which Abby's going to play.
Here's the reason I want to play this, okay? Because I think we're willfully ignoring the threat, which was explicit. It wasn't implicit, it was explicit. Listen to what he actually said.
They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. And we can get into some ways that we've been trying to reinvigorate the public interest and some changes that we've seen. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
It'd be a shame what happened.
I mean, to think that you have freedom of speech because it's on the Constitution is bullshit. For someone like yourself, Roland, you were in the military. Do you think you can say whatever the fuck you want when you were in the military?
Here's the thing.
No, answer the question.
I am
when you were in the military, did you have the freedom of speech to say whatever you want while in the military?
Let me answer the question. When I was in the military, I signed a contract. I understood what that contract meant, and I held to that. But I was fighting for the freedoms of civilians to have the right of freedom of speech at that point. I'm under a militant regime when I'm in the military. There's a certain conduct you have to have while you're in the military, which is different than civilians. You're acting like civilians should be treated like military personnel, and that's not the facts. There is a definite separation between governmental, like a regime,
right now,
like
I'm
a
not sure.
military,
Listen, because
or an
the fact that
authoritarian type of rule versus
you're in
freedom.
a semi-retirement
President
stage,
Trump
there's
is
people
an
out here who are
authoritarian.
afraid
Listen,
to lose their job. So if you're afraid to
Y'all
lose your
both
job,
talking. Y'all both talking. I can't hear you.
listen, President Trump is an authoritarian. He thinks he's a fucking king. He thinks whatever comes out of his mouth should be done. So let it be written, so let it be done type of bullshit. That is not the way the president should rule a country. And we have freedoms. You can't dictate to us what the fuck we can and cannot say. That is not why I joined the military. And that is not the freedoms that you should be having as a civilian. And to acknowledge that you think you should, no, that's not why I went into the federal government, to even fight for the rights of this country.
And one of the best lines is, when speech is policed, the government and corporations get to decide what's acceptable. And that's crazy, because then that gives them the power to control the narrative, silence dissidents, and shape public opinion.
please tell me, for all the people who've been losing their jobs, been countless of people losing their job within the past week, saying things around this particular gentleman.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Okay,
That's
so
scary, man. That's the scariest thing there is.
Let me say this.
Especially losing a job during this state of the economy, where people losing their job in the state of the economy where the economy is shit.
Listen,
And people losing their job for saying the most reckless thing.
This is the problem. There's a difference between preferential and personal treatment of the law and actually following the law. Charlie Kirk was not a politician. Charlie Kirk had nothing to do with the federal government. He is free cannon fodder, just like anybody else in the public.
I'm talking about the people
So
losing their
he's
job.
the reason why people are being fired. You got a non-politician that somebody just has a personal or preferential treatment of, that's ruling the government right now, getting people fired over making a fucking comment. And this is why I know he has a fucking problem, because he tries to sue the media himself.
Federal judge tossing out President Trump's $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times and Penguin Random House. The judge writing that the president's complaint was decidedly improper and impermissible. Attorneys for Trump just filed the suit on Tuesday, alleging a broad range of articles and a book about the president's business record amounted to libel. The Times and Penguin House called the suit meritless.
You got a president that's in office right now that thinks he's a dictator, and he doesn't want anybody to say anything negative about him. But yet and still, he ran on a policy that he wanted more freedom of speech. Here we go.
Sitting in a chair like this one, felt something shift over the last 16 hours. Because this afternoon, it is abundantly clear to everyone, not just people who sit in chairs like this one, but every single American, that the First Amendment in the hands of this current administration isn't what it used to be. It does not protect an individual's right to speak freely. That right, endowed by the founders, enshrined in the Constitution, fought for, bled for over the course of centuries, is markedly different. It is diminished today, leaving everyone, journalists and citizens alike, to wonder, where are we and what happens now? Just as importantly, right now there are ruptures of trust, some visible, some loud, some particularly notable, between Donald Trump and some of his most ardent supporters who believed him when he said this in his inaugural address.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
I'm going to stop it right there, because he just violated his own fucking amendment.
And so what you're talking about, Kanal, is freedom of speech for whom? That's really what you got to get to.
The people he likes, or the people he doesn't
And when you go down that slippery slope to say, I'm only giving freedom of speech to the things I like, then anybody who goes against that, that's punishment. That's when it gets wrong. The purpose of that's why it's the first, not the second, not the third, not the 13th. It is the First Amendment. The First Amendment in the United States is about free speech, and it's not protecting popular speech. If it's popular speech, it doesn't mean anything. It's about protecting speech that offends you, challenge you, and criticize you. We protect speech that we don't like. That's the speech that you're supposed to protect. When you start criticizing and say you can't do it, that's a problem. That's when everything goes to the wayside. So yes, people are getting fired, but weren't you the one to say, man, I'm tired of this corporate thing and corporate this and corporate that? And now what you're saying is I'm gonna fall. What they did to you was make you fall right.
They made
back
you fall in line.
Yep, got you right back there where you was complaining. I'm not corporate, and the corporate this and corporate that, and they said, and then what you know what you said?
No.
My name is Toby. My name is Toby. I'm not.
No.
Call me Toby.
Listen, one thing is, I've always been this way in regards to like being mindful of what I say. Period. Because the thing is, I know my fucking tongue. My tongue cuts, and when I cut that shit, I'm prepared to go to the next level with the shit. So the thing is, hold on. Well, you guys are putting shit in my mouth that I did not fucking say or imply. So let me defend my point. Let me defend my point. Let me defend my point. Like I said, I know in regard, the thing is, I don't like when people do me dirty. When I know I'm being honest and truthful, and you being dirty to me, that's I don't like. I don't tolerate that shit. But if I'm in a place of an environment where, hey, listen, I know what my role is, I understand the rules and the law, whatever, I follow it. But also too, I'm fully aware that the things that I say, my digital footprint, I have to be mindful of what I say and do online or outside of public places because it could be heard against me. I've been aware of this since I was 18 years old. So okay.
So you don't have
me personally. If I
what you're saying is you believe it, you wish you could say it, but you can't really say it because you're gonna get judged.
I'm judged regardless. I'm judged as soon as I step outside. I'm a big black.
But that's what you're saying, though. You're
I'm
saying
judged regardless.
I want to say it.
I'm saying this.
Hold up.
I understand the ramification on the things that I say, even on this platform. There've been many times that I fucking went loose and crazy. I went back and said, God damn, I should never said that. But I understand there's consequences to stuff that I say. If the wrong person want to take what I said offensive and they would take it to something a higher level, I got to deal with that.
Let me tell you
a higher level in your personal life. Hold on. Let me bring out this point that you just said. A higher level in your personal life is what? Should only be God. What higher level do you have outside of your job? Now you're saying your job is your higher level, even in your personal life. I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Oh my God!
Let me go even upon that.
Hold on, listen. I'm being nice. You stretching the fuck out of this shit, and your ass, dude, don't do that. Because that is like, now you stretching the shit.
I am not.
No, but you just said it. You hold up, because here's what happens when you do that. When you start to limit what people say, fear kills honesty.
I don't limit anybody. Listen, again, you can say what you want to say. I'm not stopping you from you speaking your mind. I'm saying that what you say may have consequences. That's it. Look, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna take this shit to the street level. You go outside, you run your fucking mouth. Wait, hold up. You run your fucking mouth.
We're talking about corporate. Let's not go street level because
no. Let's take it to the bottom.
No, let's be adults and let's keep it in a corporate arena. Dude, because
let's take it everyday life.
Listen. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about jobs, not personal insults. We're talking about what a company can and cannot tell you. What a government can and cannot.
Let's take it to street level. Let's take it to street level. Let's go to the street.
Has nothing to do with the street.
Dude running his mouth saying all this crazy shit to you. Because he wants you to step up to him. He daring you to step up to him. You know why? Because he got nothing to lose. And as soon as you go off your structure and you start saying, you called me what? And you do something, pop, and he in his right. He in his right to do it. So your consequences got you in trouble because of his freedom of speech. That's your consequences. Yeah. So you want to keep going to the street? That's what you want to do. You want to let somebody
that's the rule of law. That's the rule of law.
But here's my thing. Even in management,
it's a cause and effect. Listen,
even in management, even in executive management, let me put it that way. I'm in executive management and corporations. I preferred honesty above somebody kissing my motherfucking ass. If somebody told me there was a fucking fault in the process, if there was something wrong with what we were doing that was going to improve productivity or sales or whatever, I had my ears open, and I congratulated that man for having the fucking cojones to fucking tell me the truth. I don't kiss ass. I've never done it in corporate America. I've never done it even when I was in the fucking military. And I'm not about to do it right now and bow down to anybody's fucking ultimate rule over me. Like I said, the only ultimate rule in my personal life is God. Ain't nobody gonna tell me to do shit and tell me what I can't do. Yes, there are repercussions to my choices and my actions. But words, like they say in the day, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. A word is getting you fired now. What the fuck is really going on?
And then here's the other thing. And I know we talk about it. People say, oh, I like my racists from the South. Why? Because I know they racist. See, when you fear kills honesty. If people know they're gonna be punished, they're gonna stop speaking honestly. They thinking it. They want to call you this, but they not saying it. So you don't really know what it does. It creates all this fake harmony, where everybody pretend to be something they really not. I don't want my people pretending. I want you to say exactly how you feel, so I know how you feel. Don't give me the pretending. And when you start limiting what people can say, then they just don't say it. They pretend and smile. If you don't like me, if you a racist, tell me you racist. Damn it, just don't hide it and say, oh, it's something about your resume or wherever you. No, tell me. That's when it becomes the fake part. All the fake part gets hidden. And that's how all them layers that you don't see and don't know about, that's all that fake people. I can't say what I really mean. They just become silent. That's what happens. And then when you talked about who can say it, I think I got my man on here. See, this is what happens when we allow free speech for one and not free speech for the other. And this is the slippery slope you're talking about.
It was attacked with hammers, and Donald Trump and his son were making fun of him after that attack.
And we'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi, who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
Now, if that was Charlie Kirk and somebody said the same thing, they said, man, I will stand up to them crazy dudes. How Charlie Kirk wife doing, by the way? I'm just wondering. Should they be fired when the president just said the same thing?
Or how about the fact that, a lot of the people...
It's a nice little jab.
So who determines... See, this is the problem. Who determines what's the free speech? Who determines when the line is going? The president can stand up and say something about Nancy Pelosi's husband almost getting killed with a hammer, and he like, oh, how was that? But if you say something like, I don't agree with what Charlie Kirk said, and this, you should be fired. See, that's when you're letting somebody else determine what your free speech is.
I got the CNN thing was not done, and they went into that a little more in detail. If you'd like to hear that real quick while you gather your thoughts.
Government saying,
if
you don't do this, if you don't get this person off the air who said something that was wrong or that you did not like, we are going to drop the hammer on you.
No,
you're good with that?
No, I didn't like it when the Biden administration worked with big tech during COVID.
Why are
and
you defending it?
I'm not defending this. I'm saying right now, if ABC comes out and says we were forced to do this, we don't want to do this, I think this is part of a larger business decision on their part that goes back to what Scott said before about their feelings.
ABC.
This is a failing industry in terms of late night television.
I get it. Listen,
this is their excuse. This
linear
is their
television,
reason.
failing industry. The whole world understands that. But Nexstar has a very clear financial interest in not getting on the wrong side of that guy whose clip we just played. Right? You don't see the problem with that?
And I think right now they're looking at the larger business circumstances, and they're hoping that people like you and others would point that direction instead of focusing on their business.
You at least see an ethical consideration for Carr, a conflict of interest for Carr, some sense of his position as a government official to make that kind of threat?
Since when is the FCC an attack dog for any political party?
Well, it has been against Howard Stern. It has been against others in the past, which I also object to. There is a slice out of our First Amendment for broadcast, which I think is wrong. And it's based on wrong decisions years and years ago about precious airwaves and about going into the home and so on and so forth. If we believe in the First Amendment, we believe in the First Amendment. And now we have this fascinating thing happening on the right where you have Ted Cruz defending hate speech because he doesn't want his speech taken off. And so where does free speech, is your question, Abby, where is free speech here then? Where is that line? How do we know where that line is now?
Well, I think it's similar to the debate we've had this week beyond just this topic to people who said horrific, awful things after the assassination of Charlie Kirk last week. Now, I think it's awful, but they have a right to say that. But I also think employers have a right to say, not just in this instance, but in so many others we documented, if you say something that's inconsistent with the principles of our organization, be it a college, a business, a nonprofit, we don't want you on the file.
Now, that was a key point. The key point, if you say something inconsistent with our morals and values as a company, and you're in the representation mode, meaning you got a uniform on, you got some identifier that you're attached to that company, even on your personal time, you make those statements, you are liable to be fired for free speech if you violate their code of conduct. Absolutely. But there is a defining line between you being at work and you being at home and able to have a personal opinion about what's going on in the general public, within your own government, or anything else. Go ahead. Did you guys hear me? Was that?
I heard you. I thought
I didn't know if I was muted or what. Go ahead, Kuno. It's all you.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. But let's bring, I'm a godly man. I got to bring in what a pastor's saying.
Praise the Lord.
And we got to be careful and we don't lose our song and get so comfortable with the hell that's raging in our streets. We still got to be conscious that there's some things happening in this world that are trying to rob us of our song. I really despise the way that Kirk was killed last week. I despise the way he was killed. Shouldn't have gone down like that. But political violence ain't nothing new to this nation. Now, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They killed our ancestors over political violence. That was political violence right there. Knees on necks, that's political violence right there. Shooting you down for having some Skittles and a drink, that's political violence right there. Let's be clear, this ain't new. This ain't new. And I want them to be just as concerned about Kirk and be just as concerned about Trayvon as they were about Kirk. And just as concerned about my brother that just got shot last night as they were about the brother that got shot a couple days ago. And while I'm on that, can I go a little farther? You and I need to be very careful. All of us need to be careful of the public positions that we take. Be very careful. Mr. Kirk said for years that sometimes there in schools there has to be some live sacrifice to protect the Second Amendment. I'm not making it up. Some lives have to be taken to protect the Second Amendment. Got to be careful of the positions you take, because they might just come back and take you. I am not applauding his death. That boy should not have died. His children got to be raised without a father. His wife has to deal with living without her husband. It should not have gone down like that. But the Bible says if you live by the sword, be careful of your public positions, because the Bible says you will reap what you sow.
That's all that needs to be said. Shout out to Pastor Crosby out of Wheeler Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. I used to go to that church.
Oh man, all right. Well, you're gonna reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. And what happens is, I wanted to find it, and I can't find out who this music producer is. If somebody can help me in the chat. I remember he was on Charlemagne the God, and he was talking about, they were saying, well, why you let, you don't want anyone to say anything about the Jewish community, but you have no problem with them saying the N-word. Does anybody remember what the name of that music producer is? Music owner.
You're talking about the one that Jay-Z broke. Damon Dad. Damon Dad. Dame Dad.
No. The white dude. This is a white.
Because he challenged Charlemagne about Jay-Z.
No, but this is a white Jewish dude.
Oh, okay, white Jewish dude. Oh my God. I know who you're talking about. Vlad? Not Vlad.
No. Man, this dude is. I think I got his name. Give me 1 second. I want to just find it.
What's his name? Lear Cohen?
Yep, that's it. Yep. That is.
I don't know if I'm saying the name right.
Lyor. I just want to see this. So let me see if I can. Why? All right. So here go the thing. I want to just play this. This is not a download, so I'll just screen share this. But let's see if I can do this for you guys real quick. And this is what I'm talking about when you say, and I'm going to lead into something right after this, but I want to show you how certain people have certain power. And when you can limit one person's, I think you spelled that wrong, Drew, but that's all right. We got to get you back in school a little bit. That's spelling, but that was good.
At least he got you in the right direction, bro. Damn.
I'm messing with you. Now let's hear what this brother got to say.
Rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
Well, being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup, and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote
that? Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I
now remember, hold up. What he just said, he chose talent over issues. I want y'all to remember that. Is copyright. Just play the audio. God dog it. How can I just play this audio? All right.
You can't. There's no way to lock the screen. I don't think you can lock the screen. So
let me see if I share it, and
if you can jump right to his point, as long as it's within 8 to 15 seconds, they can't really get you. Just jump. Fast forward the video. Yeah.
Let me see if I can share it and share the entire screen, and just put it down. Let me see if I can just do this. Bring something else up real quick, just to. Let me see. I'll do this. Give me a second, guys. Thanks for that heads up on that, because
I'm going to play this other video. I'm going to continue on with the CNN thing.
I'm about right. So let me roll with this real quick.
Okay.
Just making sure. Can you hear it?
No.
You cannot hear it?
Mm-mm.
See, I'm not playing. Oh, I haven't shared it yet. I'm sorry, brothers. I'm sorry. All right, share the entire screen. I'll share him. All right, so you see that one?
Oh, he's saying take it down and bring it back up as a different file. Instead of a video file, just say...
I'm just going to do it like this, because that's what I'm sharing.
Think that's hypocritical, though? You're saying
let me go back to on what he said. Come on, let's go. Come on.
But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying
it's opportunistic. Yeah. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
See, I knew Dame Dash was involved in this.
Dash, you brought him up. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of
Come
money.
on, Leo. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him.
Wow.
But listen to what he said in the beginning. I just want to say what he said. He said talent. What was that thing?
Our society.
Are you
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention.
One more time.
She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent.
All right, I heard you, brother. I heard what you said. You said talent over issues, except when it's somebody else's
Morning,
talent.
NBA star Kyrie Irving benched in the wake of tweeting about an anti-Semitic film. The Brooklyn Nets suspending Irving for at least 5 games without pay after he refused to apologize for posting a link.
I guess his talent didn't matter.
Nope.
He posted a link that had something. See, this is what I'm talking about, Kanal, when I say free speech really ain't free. When you start determining who can say something and who can't say something, it's okay for a Jewish producer to say, you can say nigga, bitch, whore, slut, and it's talent over that, and I'm making money, it's no problem. But when then you say another person who sends a link, oh, that's wrong. Then you start dictating what people can say. And now you can dictate the message. And the message is you can't say nothing about the Jewish people, and you can't say nothing about that, no matter if it's a speech. And the video that he was on Amazon. It was Heroes the Negroes or something like that. But you can't say nothing on that. But you can say Negro, nickel, gangster, whore, slut. Now, what community are you hurting when you say that? See, if you limit people's free speech, or you dictate people's free speech, you allow people to say whatever they want to about your community and put down whatever they want to about yours, and then limit what you can say about theirs. And that's where things get dangerous, my brother.
To a documentary that denied
Not only wanting him to pay money, apologize, get suspended, all that for something he never even said. He just put a link out.
Cost.
Those falsehoods are unfortunate.
Understand this. When I say freedom of speech, there is no freedom of speech. There's the illusion of freedom of speech.
No, there's freedom of speech. You've just been delusional in thinking that there's an illusion. You have a right to say whatever the hell you want, brother. Don't go on through life thinking that you have limitations of what you can and cannot.
I can say whatever I want, but I understand that the things that I say may have consequences.
If you work for somebody, you let them domineer you.
Just period in general. So it's just like, again, look, I know I got freedom of speech. I know that, but I understand that the stuff that I say may come back and hurt me. So I'm not going to be delusional of the fact that, hey, I can say whatever I say and don't think nothing will come back. So again, you can say whatever. Again, my whole argument is you can say whatever you want, freely as possible. No one's not going to say anything. However, you can't stop the consequences that may come afterwards. You just can't. That's it.
If you say
whatever you want,
listen. If you say it,
that's been my argument since we started the show. I've been saying that from day one. You can say whatever you want.
You're saying you're worrying about the company doing this, that, and the other thing. If you're not representing,
no. See, again. You guys like doing that with your other guests. No, I ain't that fucking stupid. I said you can say whatever you want. Doesn't matter where you are, but understand that what you say has consequences. That's it. Don't try to twist my words. I know exactly what I'm saying because I'm keeping it simple. You can say whatever you want. Understand that the stuff you say may have consequences. That's it.
And so you also said, oh, people getting fired at work, things like that. Yeah. So what should be the consequences?
You can say those are consequences. You can say whatever you want, but understand that there's consequences to stuff you say. You may get fired. You may get shot. You may get your ass slapped. Something can happen to you. It is what it is. But you can say what you want to say.
So you agree?
That's what I'm saying.
There should there be consequences?
I mean, guys, okay, all three of us, we're world travelers. Outside the Western Hemisphere, the shit you say will get you killed. The shit you say will put you in prison for the rest of your life. Shit, fairness. We were just in Cuba 2 years ago. Imagine you walking around saying what the fuck you want to say. Your ass would be in prison.
Hold up. My people I know didn't go fight in a war to die for me to have freedom of speech in Cuba.
No. But I'm just saying, as world travelers, we understand that there are countries out there you cannot say what you want to say.
But you're not talking about
that's the point. We're not talking about those countries. We're talking about America. We're talking about American rights, American laws.
I'm using that as an example, guys. I'm using that as an example.
You can't. You got to stay within the continental United States.
I'm using it as an example. As world travelers, look at your fuck boy Jay Rello. What the fuck he's doing over there in Kenya? Wait. Hold on. I'm using him as an example. You cannot say whatever you want. You may think as an American traveling the world, hey, I got freedom of speech. No, the fuck you don't. In the United States, hey, I got freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want. You may have consequences. You, a white man calling me a nigger, hey, I may be that type of black man that want to blast the dude for calling me that. That's the consequences. So again, keep in mind, you can say whatever you want, but understand that there's consequences that comes afterwards. There's countries out there, you cannot say that. You'll go to prison for the rest of your life. Or you get caned to death, rocked to death, gun squad. It is what it is. Let's not be stupid to the fact, man.
Hold up, Roland. Let me ask you a question.
That's not America.
Let me ask him a question.
Go ahead.
Wait, hold up. Roland, you're in the Philippines, man. Can you say whatever you want to say in the Philippines?
I'm not a Filipino, so no. If I was a Filipino, I could say whatever I wanted to say, but I'm not a Filipino. That's what I'm saying.
Wait.
You can't compare being a foreigner in another country to being an American.
Can the locals say whatever they want? Can the locals or the Philippines say whatever they want with no consequences?
Yes, they're right now. They're protesting the fact that all this money was taken because Manila floods on a repeated basis, and all these people are associated to all these billions of dollars that disappeared. That was supposed to be.
They can say whatever they want and have no consequences.
It don't matter. It does not matter if the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Colombia, DR, whatever, their rules are their rues. They have their different constitution. They not in the United States. In the United States, we have the First Amendment. The First Amendment allows us to do that. So let me ask you this: since you say there's consequences, right now there's the right-wing side in the government. They don't want abortion. What if you said, I believe in abortion? Do you think it's right, or those consequences to your action? Should your job be able to fire you? Because their view may be, we don't believe in that. And I ask you that because where does the line get drawn? Where does your view become bad and their view becomes good? There's consequences to your action. So are you saying you're just not supposed to say nothing? Keep your mouth shut?
No, I'm not saying that. Understand that if you prepare to defend what you say, understand that, hey, you may lose your job. It is what it is. It's not your company. As long as you work for somebody, you're at the power at their will. So they may just say, you know what, hey, we're pro-abortion, you're anti-abortion. You know what? You're not in line to our culture, morals, or whatever. You got to go. It's what it is.
The problem is when the consequences are punishing you because of what you think. That's just not words. That's your livelihood. You shouldn't have to choose between speaking your mind and feeding your family.
Look, there's a comment by Alex Bam Bam, and he agrees with me.
No,
as a Filipino, Roland, I understand you live there now temporarily. I mean, you cannot say what the fuck you want. You say.
Did you just read what he said? But I understand what you're.
But I asked you that same question. You said they can say whatever
I'm
they want.
not being disingenuous when I
say whatever they say, especially in Asia.
They can. They absolutely can. Filipinos comment on Filipino.
I'm a chat GPT this shit.
Go ahead.
Chat GPT.
Philippines right now are doing protests in groups.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about as an individual. If they want to go and talk shit about the government, will the government come knocking on their door?
You might disappear. That's the way they're getting.
All right. You just proved my point.
But We're not Filipinos. We're not anybody.
Come on, man.
Hold up. No, wait.
Bro, don't treat me like one of y'all other guests, man. Come
No.
on, bro.
Hold up. Google it, brother, because I just did. In 1987, Philippine
Alex, I know you lived in the
guarantees
Philippines.
freedom of speech and expression. It says that, but in practice, these rights are just restricted by laws of defamation and anti-terrorism. So they have freedom of speech.
They built their constitution around the American government.
Yeah,
but their freedom of speech is
in
built
1987, the Filipino Constitution explicitly protects freedom of speech, expression,
I mean,
why one person in the goddamn comment understand what I'm saying? Y'all two can't understand what I'm saying. How the hell does Alex Bam Bam understand what I'm saying, but y'all two can't?
GPT.
Because
listen, man. Listen, look, I understand y'all want to gang. Look, I understand y'all want to gang up on me, but listen, Alex Bam Bam just said himself. BMT is talking about individuals, so I also understand what he's saying. I said individuals. You talking about groups?
Listen, we talking about a whole government and a whole governmental.
Yeah, bro. But I was using that as an example.
You can't though, because even in America, if you say some fucked up shit to a politician, your ass could disappear. The fuck you mean?
I just said that.
But we protest in groups for that purpose. So you saying as an
individual, Roland, as an individual, you cannot say whatever you want to say. You just can't.
We're talking about the whole federal government that's built around certain freedoms, and we're talking about the government imposing and putting limits on who gets that preferential treatment as far as how that law is fucking imposed. We just mentioned Tamir Rice. We mentioned George Floyd. All these motherfuckers on the right were saying all kind of derogatory shit about them. Nobody was getting fucking fired. Now you got Charlie Kirk, who died, and unfortunately was assassinated by another white man. But anybody that says anything negative about the way he died or anything about him, they're being fired. That's preferential issuance of law. And you can't abide by that as an American citizen.
I just put a comment on the chat. Can you read that, please, out loud?
Yeah, but what do you mean? You
hold up.
read it.
I'll read it. No, I will read it because the United States Constitution is the same. The Philippine Constitution guarantees freedom of speech, expression, and press. However, there are laws that restrict certain kinds of speech. In the United States, we guarantee freedom of speech. Yet, there are still laws that restrict your freedom of speech. And here's the example that they always give. You cannot yell fire in a movie theater. So we restrict certain kinds of speech that is dangerous because yelling fire could cause people to try to evacuate and cause harm. So we limit the kind of speech. So what you just read is the same as the United States Constitution. That means nothing. That's the same thing we say.
But guys, look, I've been saying that from the start of the show. Look, you can say what you want to say, but it may have consequences. And again, whatever you want to say could be good, bad, ugly, despairing. It could be anything. But understand that it may have consequences come with it. That's it. That's been my argument from day one. You guys are taking it like y'all just pulling strings from the stars and moons and galaxy, saying that I say this and I said that, and I did it.
And when you get fired from your job for certain things that have no cause, you should be able to sue. Somebody can't fire you for what you say after work. It has nothing to do with your job. It has nothing to do with that. Now what you're doing is you're dictating me 24 hours a day and only get paid for 8 hours.
Thank you.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep it old school. I go to work. I stay away from politics. I stay away from certain conversations. When they start having that conversation, guess what I do? I get up, excuse myself. I understand, for one, as a black man, corporate America is already challenging enough, especially at a certain level. I'm not going to partake on any conversation that I feel like, you know what, is going to go left. So, hey, I don't have that flexibility.
That's it.
That's just me. That's just me. I'm speaking for me. I'm not speaking for someone. I'm speaking for me. I don't have these conversations. When they start those conversations, I get up and remove myself.
So you're not
DMT,
allowed to have an
you
opinion.
are at work.
No,
Hold up.
no. I can have
You
an
are at
opinion.
work.
I choose not to partake in that conversation.
No problem. That's fine. I don't bring politics at work. I don't talk about race.
There's
at
certain
work.
conversations I prefer not to have in the workplace.
At work, no problem. These people weren't fired at work. They were fired. Yeah, well, some of them. A lot of them were fired for what they said on their social media, what they said outside of work. So do you think your job can dictate what you say outside of work? It don't matter what you say at work. At work, you have to abide by certain rules. There's a work ethic. There's a culture that you have to abide by. And there are some things that you shouldn't be talking about. Religion. You shouldn't be talking about politics. Those things aren't involved in work. I'm talking about when you're not at work.
Look, you have to be mindful of what you say. Like even now, like I joined different.
I am not going to let my job police my life 24 hours a fucking day. There's no.
See now you're taking it like you're reaching out, policing your life. Come on, really? No one's not policing your life.
Basically, what you're saying.
Stop. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that nor implying that. So stop it. All I'm saying is I'm not going to partake in it. It's like you can have that conversation. I'm not going to be part of it. I'm going to get up, have my drink elsewhere. That's just me.
But that's at
I'm
work.
okay with that.
I'm
okay
talking
with
about,
that.
I keep saying not at work. Not at work.
Even a public setting, there's certain conversations I just don't want to partake in. That's just like, you know what? This is the same rat hole conversation. I don't want to partake in this, even if it's outside at the bar. It's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna grab my drink. You know what? I'm gonna be Cartman. I'm gonna grab my ball and go home. That's it. I'm okay with that. Some people like to go back and forth. That's not me. I'm not doing that.
I'm not talking about a debate. I'm talking. See, you keep saying what you may consider rat hole or something like that. Your job can say, we don't like any of that speech. Okay, let's talk about this. Your job don't agree with immigration. And they like, hold up, you brought a woman from where? Hold it. Oh, no, we can't have that.
Then they have to fire me. Fuck.
And you fine with that.
Dude, that's their company. I'm just an employee.
Okay.
I'm just an employee. I don't own the shit.
So let me ask you this. If you knew
now,
that was
there's
their
grounds for me for a lawsuit.
Let me ask you this.
I'm sue them.
If you knew that was their stance, and you
I didn't know that was their stance.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying if you know.
If I knew, now would I still apply for it? No.
But you don't know till you get there. Are you gonna keep your mouth shut after work?
Wait. You confused me now.
You get to.
Did I knew before they hired me or after they hired me?
You've been after you hired. You hired. You don't know nothing about it, and they say, "Oh, our stance on immigrating, whatever it is." So, do you keep your mouth shut after work?
I'll be looking for another job while I'm at that job.
So they've dictated what you do.
So
no, I mean, they don't even know what my personal life is. See, that's the point. Look. I understand what you guys are trying to do. They don't even know they don't even know what's going on in my personal life.
But they're still keeping you limited on what you can say in your personal life.
How? Please tell me how.
Because
they don't even know what's going on in my personal life. If I don't even talk about my personal life at the job, wait, hold up. If I don't even talk about my personal life in the job place, how the hell they're living in my life? Please tell me.
Because you're saying
you don't talk about because of your digital footprint.
Yep.
What?
There's certain things you say you do not talk about because of your digital footprint. So you are judged outside of your work on what you think outside of your job.
So let me read this real quick. And I have been going around and around. Listen, before we even got on this live, I have been going around and around with ChatGPT and a conversation. And my thing is, I said this is preferential treatment of the law. And so my thought was it was preferential / personal versus lawful. Yes, it appears that many of the preferential and influenced by political pressures, by whether the unlawful depends on heavily or specific speech, content, who said it, status of the speaker, so on and so forth. So the litigating of this is, was the person a public employee? Was the person that speaks on the matter had any kind of public concern? These are things that you have to consider when you're making a conversation now where, and I said this to Alex, ever since the invention of the internet and a cell phone, The company has tried to impede into your personal life after motherfucking hours. Now with the advent of the internet, and now they're looking at your personal footprint, which has nothing to do with them when it comes to their company. They're not paying you, okay? There is a line that needs to be driven, whether you have a digital footprint or not, that they do not have the privilege or the right to impede on. And this is the problem with most corporations, and why I stopped working for corporations a long fucking time ago and went independent and started my own business where they could not monitor or tell me what I could or could
Roland,
not.
not everybody's in your position, Roland.
But what I'm saying is, when
not everyone's in your position.
footprint makes a difference, that means they are already impeding in your
Right now,
personal.
the everyday American is working for somebody. You have to be mindful of what you say and do. Your digital footprint, the shit that you put on social media, may come back to bite you. Even me, some of the things that I said on these live streams, trust me, I've gone back and cleaned that shit up. I deleted it, or I feel like, you know what? Hey, I need to be mindful of that. If I decide to keep it, hey, I have to deal with the consequences that comes to me later.
Right.
Dude, if you work for somebody, again, the everyday American, work for someone, you have to be mindful of what you say. There's certain conversation I say do not partake in. That's it. It's not worth it. Just to say your point, okay, at the end of the day, the shit doesn't matter.
I looked at our policy. Our policy just says you don't say nothing about the company. You don't put the company uniform on. You don't. As long as you are not representing the company, you good.
And shout out to the comments. All the comments that I'm reading right now are agreeing with me. Somehow,
because they suckers
are not
agreeing
because
they work for other people.
Yeah, they suckers and simps. They don't. Hey, this name
I
earned, baby.
Wow, Fearless. Come on now. Now you name calling us. You calling us suckers and simp. God damn it, come on, bro.
Look, these are the same dudes that get on this chat and talk all that smack, and I can say what I want to say, and they get to work and be like, "My name is Toby. Toby, what you want, man? So I clean up. Right. I ain't saying nothing. That was Rolling and Fearless in there, sir. You followed him. I'm with BMT. He's a house nigga.
I would listen.
Hey, you know what? I'm offended by this. I'm offended by this whole tone of voice.
I can tell you what. I can tell you what. Anybody wants to run through my fucking LinkedIn? Every 3 to 5 years, I fucking left companies because I would tell them about themselves and walk the fuck out. I didn't give a fuck when it came to that shit. You're not gonna run my life if I'm making you money, which I know my value when I went into a company.
Hey,
I knew
shout out to the comment section. You guys are dropping.
But they're agreeing with both of us.
Thank you for agreeing with me. These two fools don't know what they're talking about.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
These two fools don't know what they're talking about. Roland can say whatever he wants in the Philippines.
I have never been a bow down. Master. I've never been that dude. Never even in the military. Never been that dude.
Yes, sir.
I don't do that shit. I learn the rules of the game. And I extort the rules of the game for my fucking benefit. I've always done that. In corporate America and the fucking federal government, I knew my SOP. I knew my prac. I knew what a fucking officer and a gunny or anybody else could tell me.
Roland, not everyone is in your position, Roland. So we're talking about the everyday person.
I have to bow down to you.
Everyday person cannot do what you're doing. Roland, everyday person cannot do what you're doing. So please stop it.
This is the point of why we having these conversations. So all these other ones that are falling in line and allowing companies to say and do whatever to make them bow down, they need to know that
bow down. Bow down. Come on, man. Y'all simp suckers bow down.
I ain't no simp and no sucker.
Y'all should be offended what they saying. I'm offended. I deserve an apology.
I ain't apologizing.
I'm gonna tell you your apology right here. Go your apology.
Freedom of speeches. What you mean?
It's Toby.
You didn't play this for real.
What I say about him so hard, man?
I'm sorry. Are you all right?
You sorry? I'm gonna show you sorry, man.
Get the show back.
And see,
man.
When someone said, you better be a multi-millionaire, you better be rich to say that. That's a slave
nothing to do with it,
brother. Because what you're trying to say is the only people who can talk and have freedom of what they want to say have to be rich. That's sad. At any point in my life, I should be able to say what I want to say. I do not let somebody dictate the words to come out of my mouth because they paying me. That means You a house Negro.
You're
That means
a
here go to that house Negro is saying, I love the comforts of what I have. And because of the comforts of what I have, I'm scared to do anything because it stops me from the comforts of this lifestyle. That's sad. I don't let the comforts of my lifestyle go through it. I'm a man. I'm going to stand 10 toes down no matter what. No matter what the income is, no matter what happens. See, that's what a real man does. I don't let that dictate the money, dictate my words. I don't do that. That means I can go because what happens is that means no matter where I go, what somebody pays me, they own me. If you pay me a lot of money or you pay me this much money, you own what I can say because now you dictate my paycheck. I never let that happen. I've never put myself in that position.
Even in countries or in states where it was, you could be fired for any reason. Before I got hired, I signed a contract. They wrote me up one while everybody else is hired on at will. I wasn't that guy. Because I knew state statutes. I knew laws. I was not going to be that guy ever. I'm going to walk out and you won't either pay me to walk out because you violated the contract, or I'm walking out because I'm giving you my 30 days and I'm going to tell you about yourself. I've never been that guy. And yes, I know other people aren't in that situation, but there's a point where you have to understand what the rules of the game are and either extort the rules of the game for your fucking benefit or fucking bow down and be that slave. Be Toby.
Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing wrong with Toby. There's a lot of Tobys out there.
Yeah, look, they getting paid. All them Tobys are getting paid.
What's wrong with Toby? Toby good. Don't be wrong to be Toby. Everybody can't be Kunta. Everybody can't. That's just how life goes. We need some Tobys in this world. But on this real tip, when you let somebody be able to control you because of monetization, and you know how I found this out, man? 90% of the people are Toby. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tell y'all my own personal story. I made a mistake when I was 19 years old. I moved in with this chick. I left my apartment and I moved in with this chick in an apartment. I had to go for an away game, and she thought I was talking about this chick talking about something. When I came back, this chick had all my stuff, my clothes packed up in my car and changed the locks. I was like, damn, I can't get in. Like, let me go to my car. I seen all my shit. I said, oh, okay. That's fine. I am not going to beg. I'm not going to scream. And I'm never going to put myself in position for somebody to dictate my outcome. See, that's what they wanted. She thought she could control me, that I would have to beg her. I will sleep in my car until I get it. I'm not letting somebody control my outcome. Never. Never in my life am I going to let you control my outcome. And that's why even in my life now, I set up certain things so that if anything happens, I always got to fall back on. But I also am smart enough to know that, hey, I know what my work exceeds, and I'm not judged by the words I say. I'm judged by the skill that I bring. And see, when you really do something, they don't care. They're like, what? You said what? You do your job, you show up every day and you do this work. What you do outside ain't got no concern over what we gonna do. And that's how it should always be. But a lot of y'all can't say something, won't say something, afraid. Y'all afraid to say something to your girl because she might leave you. You're afraid to say something to somebody else because they might do something. Huh? Man, I cannot live my life in fear, man. What is that quote about dying 1,000 times? Let me see.
I don't know that. But yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily being an alpha. I'm not an alpha. I consider myself a Sigma man. I'm not an alpha. I don't follow along with the crowd.
Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get the actual quote. Yeah. Let me see if I can get the actual quote of what he said. A coward dies 1,000 times before his death, but a valiant takes the death, but only once. If y'all need me to break that down, I can break that down for you. You're so scared that something's going to happen that you always living in fear, that you always scared. A real person just says they're going to die. They die one time. The other person, when he say I die 1,000 times, is that, well, what if I do this? And what if I do that? And if I go here, this will happen, and this will happen, and this. So you've died 1,000 times in your mind. That's the coward. When you do it, you just say, man, I'm dead. I don't worry about. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Keep on moving. Put yourself in positions that doesn't mean anything. Man, I've been broke. Man, I've been broke.
I don't even fear that. Yeah, I've started over. I told y'all, I gave up a whole sales agency when I had my PTSD fucking event. I was making millions. I had over 500 agents working for me. And if anybody knows anything about insurance and residuals, I was making a fucking grip. And I gave all that shit up to start over because it wasn't worth my fucking mentality in my mind to deal with all that shit.
And yet here's the difference. And I've seen somebody say this in the comments. Yes, I speak from a person who is self-employed, but I'm employed. There's the difference.
I'm the one that was self-employed.
Yeah, I got a mentality of the self-employed because I've had nothing, been without. I understand how that is. Do I like it? No. But there's certain principalities that I don't want to compromise.
That's principalities.
Yeah, to go back to that. I don't want to put myself in position. And see, that's the kind of person that goes to Hollywood and they say, you want that contract? You got to do something strange for a little bit of change.
Get on that couch.
And they do it. They compromise their morals, their morality, and their principles because of that. When you stand and you have those morals, none of that matters.
Get that baby on.
Those are the same, and see, those are the same people. I'm not talking about this specific person. Those are the same people that go overseas and a girl change up on them. And they wonder, how'd she change up on them? Because the girl didn't have any morals in the beginning. She didn't have those morals. So of course she can come back and do whatever. So if you can't spot the morality in those people, how can you have it in yourself? Come on, guys. I don't have a lenient employer. The rules of where I work at said this. I don't have a logo here. Whatever you do on your outside is what you do on your outside. That's it. None of that.
Y'all really take this way over the top. You don't need to. Taking it too far with it. You limiting anything you can do in your own personal life based on the fact
this dude said.
You too scared to lose your job. That's what it is. You too scared to lose your job.
I love what my man said.
Your job.
He said, when you have a family to feed, you will compromise. Let me tell you this. Because I'm curious. I'm curious because you know who taught me this? My mother. And y'all say I'm mixed, and it was a white mama who taught me this.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, baby. I remember when I was young, she went to work for somebody. And she brought me along. And these white people that she was working for didn't like the fact she had a black kid. She didn't care. She said, I don't give a fuck if you don't want me to have this job. I know I got a family to feed, but I'm not going to let you dictate who my child is and who I love. And if I can't bring my child here, I don't welcome here. And I'm telling you what, if my child was right here and they seen somebody disrespecting me, calling me out my motherfucking name, and I got to say to myself, I'm going to take that because I can have this job. What kind of representation would I have for my child? If they looking at me and looking at somebody disrespecting me because I need that money. That's the kind of man you are. There's no way I'm going to put myself through that. Why would I put myself through that and say, you know what, that's fine. Because I need this job, you can call me whatever you want because I got to show up tomorrow. Fuck that. If I did that, what kind of man would I be to my wife? What kind of man would I be to my kid? Those are the cowards. That's the coward I'm talking about. And if you do something like that, I'm calling you a coward. Man, I ain't want to get like this tonight. I got to go see some balloons launch tomorrow. Baby, I'm not trying to get in this. I got family day tomorrow. Why y'all putting me out like that? I'm trying to be like that. Ah, man. Y'all got me off. I got to calm down. I wasn't trying to be like that. When a man has the family to feed, he will compromise.
I would never had to. I worked 3-4
jobs. Compromising, bro. If you compromising, I wouldn't even call myself a man. Man, those are the same people who put themselves in a position You know what? Y'all right. You're right. A man of compromise. You're right. You're right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm gonna shout out. I don't want to interrupt you. You done? I'll let you land your plane, right?
I'm sitting back.
Okay,
I'm trying to calm down.
This super chat. Okay, I'm gonna bring out a super chat. Shout out to my brother David Dice for the $5 super chat. I'll never fear the outcome because of my words. Confidence is too high. And Co Jones, what's Co Jones? Cojones. Oh, my bad. I got the H is okay. Cojones is too big. I mean, it is what it is. If you got them, you got them. If you don't, you don't. I've walked into companies brand new, sat there and talked to the manager or supervisor when I was first getting hired, or a senior level executive, and I spoke my mind truthfully. That's what they expect. I don't know why you guys feel like you got to cow and step below somebody else. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, I walked in the rooms and they wanted an honest opinion. I evaluate companies before I go in, and as I go through the company, if I grow through the company, I evaluate it as I'm moving through it. And if it gets to a point where it's a bottleneck and they don't want to listen to what I'm saying in order to improve it, I walk the fuck away. I'm not going to sit there and argue with somebody just to pull a check. Go look through my LinkedIn and see what happens. I run through some companies. 3 to 5 years is usually my length. And then I get sick of the shit and I'll go somewhere else. I've never stopped myself from growth, and I've learned a whole bunch of shit over my years. But I will not cower in the sight of anybody talking to me. I've been brought up in a church where I believe that the only person I need to cower to is God because I've done something in sin. I've carried favor in companies. I've grown and leaped through companies where people are like, how the fuck did he get up here so fast? It is what it is.
Now, granted, I'm not saying go to work and be an asshole and do that. That's not what I'm saying. So don't get me right. You don't go to work. You don't disrespect. I'm still I'm a friendly person. I'm nice. The reason they like me is because I solve problems. I work way over I work. I guess I'm on salary, so it doesn't matter the hours I work. But I do work on the weekends. After I do extra stuff and I do extra things. But anything that I believe, I don't crush my morals for. I don't do that. And I call them out. Luckily at my job, I don't think anybody brings that. I just think where I work, people don't bring that in. It's more about business. But I will stop a person in their tracks if they do that. I don't play that. No right to it. And you can't dictate the reason that they like me, not like me, respect me, is because I am belief in what I say, whether that's at work. And I say, look,
the word is
I work for a Japanese company. We have something called nimiwashi. Nimiwashi is to get the opinions of others. So that doesn't necessarily mean everyone has to agree, but I'm able to state my case and I go through and say, this is why I agree with it. Not everyone has to agree with it, but if we want to make a change, here's where it's at. And you learn to make those changes within yourself. But there is no way, because I've seen it, man. And that was I'm telling you, we ain't have a lot of money at that time. And my mom was like, nope, I don't care. And I was kind of sad, like, man, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose this. And she was like, never let somebody else. And it was like a sad thing to her, almost like, because I'm letting you know, my mom was white and these were white people discriminating against her because she had a black child. And she was like, there would be, because I was like, I don't have to come to work. I don't have to do that. And she's like, there would be no time in my life where I would let somebody tell me something about my child, where I would let them dictate to me because of their racist bias. It's bad. I'm not hot. I birthed you. You think I'm gonna hide you? I said, man, so Nat Measy can say what he want to say about them black women who might compromise. My mama did not compromise, and she would come home and sing the blues. I remember that. Aretha Franklin, chain of fools, baby. She let me know them chain of fools was out there. Oh man.
We're gonna shut up for a minute and let Kanal talk because he's sitting there like deep in thought complex.
Toby don't say too much, baby. Toby, no.
Again, you
Don't do that to him, bro.
Hold up. You speaking to a dude that checked a lot of dudes in the workplace to the point where they will fear for their life. So, again, don't get it twisted. If I choose not to partake in a verbal argument or express my feelings on a certain topic, if you cross me, man, again, I'm gonna say or do something. So that's just me. This is who I am. So I know me. I know whose Kanal is, Black Man Charles. I know what I'm capable of doing. So I prefer not to partake in it. That's it. I don't have the luxury to say what the fuck I want and have that fuck you money and then I go about my business. No, I don't. I'm married now with a little son. I have to be mindful. Even when I'm out going to the club, grab something to drink, I have to be mindful. I can't go ape shit crazy on the dude. I just can't. I got to come back home to my family. So again, I'm just being mindful. Like, hey, yes, freedom of speech is alive and well. You can say whatever you want. No one can stop no one can stop you from saying what you want to say. But understand there's consequences. That's it.
And yeah, Joe,
I've been saying this from day one. I don't know what else to say.
I got all my blues from my mom. Bobby Blue Bland, BB King, the Thrill Is Gone, Aretha Franklin, was it ZZ Hill? All of that, brother. That I know that's weird, but she was from the Delta. She knew all of them people. But the other part is, I think someone said, if it was something about October 7th, would I say like F the Jews? No, because the thing is, it's not that I wouldn't say that, because I do not view the Jews as the bad people, because that's like saying the blacks, the whites. No, I understand a specific. I tell you what, I could say the Zionists, or I could say the Israeli government, because you know what happens when I go overseas? A lot of people do not like the United States government, but they like me, and I'm an American. So they can differentiate between the government and the people who live there. And I can do the same. I can say, I do not like what this government has done. And I can say that about our own government. And if you don't like that, and nothing I can do. But I can also explain why, to say, I don't like these actions. And I've had that conversation. Matter of fact, when this first started, I had that same conversation with my supervisor when he thought it was right. And I said, here goes the issue. You have never been a person who has been oppressed. When you are a person who is oppressed and you look at oppression, you see it in a whole different way. And what I said, what I cannot condone, and this is, and I'm gonna see if I can bring this speech up while I'm talking about it. And I said, here's what I have found. Man, I'm sorry. Go ahead and talk, and I'll bring this up, and I'll keep going with that.
Real quick, I don't know this brother's name. He's never dropped his name in the chat, and I have not transposed his name yet. Appreciate the 6 shekels, I believe it's called, from Israel. Only passport bros compromise. LOL. Shots fired at the passport bros. We're not here because all three of us, we're not passport bros at all. But I mean, some of them have compromised. They compromise in their morals, their ethics, who they're dating, and some have been very successful. It just depends on who you're talking about, you know. But you have to transform yourself. You have to learn how to grow from your life experiences. That's the biggest thing. I would say this: most people are doomed to repeat their fucking mistakes because they have not learned from their life experiences. When you see a life experience in front of you, learn from it and grow from it. Don't keep fucking repeating the same thing, because we all know the definition of insanity is what? Repeating the same actions, getting the same results, expecting different results. You're not going to get it. You got to learn. I don't know why there's certain people in this world that want to keep on bumping their heads up against the wall and not growing from their experiences in life. And I'm sorry, the quickest way to experience life is travel. You'll have a greater appreciation of America and the things that you have as advantages here, or you could gain a huge appreciation of the culture that you go to because of how they're treating their people or how people are treating you. Either way, you're still growing from it. You're getting world experience, on a global scale. We live in a fucking bubble in America. It's not until you leave America that you realize that we're in a fucking bubble. And it helps that America's so far away from everything else. Takes you hours to fly somewhere. But you notice once you get to whatever country you're going to, how quick those other those plane tickets and those flights are. A lot easier to get around once you get out of the United States. That was done for a purpose. Defensively and whatever else. I don't know if you're muted or not. Yeah, I can't hear you, Phyllis. You're muted. Oh, you know you're muted.
Yeah, I'm listening to something in the background, see if I can get this part.
Come on, man. It can't just be we need to hear from you.
I'm done, man. Yeah,
You can't say, I'm gonna drop the mic on this.
No, because it's what it is. I have nothing else to say. I've been saying it from past 2 hours now, almost 2 hours. So I'm going to repeat myself. No, I'm not doing it. I said what I got to say. Again, you can say whatever you want to say, but again, there are consequences to what you say. That's it. Either you're employed, or you know what? Even if you have your own business, if you decide to say something stupid, people can make sure your business shut down. So again, freedom of speech is there, but is it actually real? Not really.
How can they shut down your business? Give me an example of that.
Oh, so you haven't seen what's been going on? All the businesses that have been doing stupid shit, saying the most dumbest shit, and they get their business shut down due to poor reviews, boycotting, and all this stuff.
If your food is good, your food is good.
All right.
But if whatever you're doing, you excel at it and you give quality work.
Maybe because you're in the Philippines, you don't know what's going on in the States.
Listen, can't nobody fuck your product up but you. If you have a good quality product, you have a solid company, it shouldn't matter. You're going to get people that support you and you're going to get people that don't agree with you. That's life. It's always going to happen that way. But if you have a good, solid product, it doesn't matter. People are still going to buy it. I don't believe somebody can shut down your company. Only you can limit yourself when it comes to that.
Okay.
I just won't accept somebody saying that they can shut me down from doing something.
People can shut down your business. They could. There's ways they could actually attack your business. Even though you have the best food, if you said something that impacts people and they want to work together to shut down your business, they could do that.
Yeah, they can pick it, and that will be a small group of people, but that's not the overall opinion of everybody. You're always going to get a small group of people that don't agree with you. And guess what? I'm not here to appease them. They can go on about their business. But the overwhelming group is not going to say, well, we're all going to just boycott just because.
I mean, guys, look, what is there for me to say? I've been saying the same thing since it started. You can say whatever you want to say. You got freedom of speech, but understand what you say has consequences. So if you guys want to go outside and say you want to say, and someone decides to punch you in the face, that's the consequences.
I don't have to lead the violence. We're talking about corporations here.
I mean,
you're talking about personal.
Even corporation. If you work for a company and you want to say you believe in a certain stance, if that company has the right to fire, they can fire you.
Yeah, if you don't,
that's what's going on now. I've been saying this for the past 2 hours now. Do you want me to continue to say that?
But no, the question has been, do you think that's right? And would that limit?
No, it's not right, but it's what it is. It's not right. Okay. But until you start your own business, this is what you got to deal with. Until you you run your own successful business, successful running revenue business, you could do whatever you want. I mean, you can't do whatever you want or say whatever you want. You just can't. Right now, if you see, based on all the people that have been getting fired, based on what they're saying, Can you really say what you want to say? Is there really true freedom of speech?
I can guarantee you, if somebody was smart enough and they knew the law and they had the right advice, some of the people that got fired, Jimmy Kimmel included, probably has a legal stance that he can go back and argue that point of why he was fired. And he will get a severance package before he has to go that far. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think the thing was his contract was up like in January or something like that, and he thought he wasn't going to be renewed. So to him, it was like, they let me out early because he got money, so it's not going to affect him monetarily. So he's fine with it. For him, it's not a fight that would do anything. So,
I mean, he's made his millions, and if they want to go find somebody else to replace him, I mean, at one point he replaced somebody before him. And I think it was Jimmy Carson or
confused about, I think Chris Rock said it. He was talking about racism, and he said, "You ever look at like the old guys? They on there, and they be like, yeah, they don't talk bad about the boss." And I'm comparing that to big business. And you guys say that the more business you got, the more you can say. I think that is incorrect. I think the higher you get, the less you say because you're trying to protect your assets. If you only worth 1,000 and you lose half, you're like, it's easy to start all over. So I think all things that are grassroots start from grassroots. Every movement that we have has started from people who said, I don't have anything, I don't have a lot to lose, and I'm gonna fight for this little bit that I have. The more money that you have, the more secure you feel in a position, and the less you're willing to say, because you're afraid, you've gotten comfortable, you've gotten to a part that you don't want to do anything, and you're afraid of change. And especially in the IT business, that's why a lot of businesses do not hire older people in IT, because they feel that they're at a comfortable stage. They're not at a stage where they want to be progressive. They want to make change. They want to go in there and do changes. And that's what happens. And so if we're allowing the fact that you want to be a big business, or we're allowing all of those things to dictate how we'll go because we want to be in art, we want to be comfortable, that really hurts the next generation, because that means we're afraid to make a change or have a voice because of what we may lose. And I forgot who said it when they said, I would rather die on my knees and stand like a fool. Let me get that exact quote.
I guess while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and read the super chat since I'm not interrupting you.
Okay.
Shout out to my brother David Dice with another $5 super chat. We appreciate the support of the channel. If you can support all black male media, there's very few of us out here telling the truth. There's a lot of brothers out there telling fucking lies. Let me say that. I'm disappointed.
Hey.
So now I know how the debate would have went with Black Man Travels. He tapped out when down in the fourth quarter, shaking my head.
Oh, man.
Man.
Oh, man.
You said you can't stand up to it.
I don't know what else to say. I've been saying the same thing for the past 2 hours.
Man.
If anything, I want all you guys to say what you want to say at work. If you believe in freedom of speech, say whatever you want.
But I don't say without we didn't
again.
We're not debating
if you believe
that,
in that, go say what you want to say. That's it.
The thing is,
come back to me next week and let me know what the results were.
I have said all I wanted to say my whole fucking life. While I was in the military, when I was in corporate America, I have always said what I wanted to fucking say. But I knew how to say it in a certain way to where I didn't violate any fucking company rules. They might not like.
Go tell your listeners to do that. Go tell your listeners to do that.
Understand the rules. I've also told them that. Understand the rules of your appointment.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell the listeners to do that because I go to work. I'm not there for religion.
No, go tell them to go speak their minds. Say what they want to say.
I would tell anyone, hold up. After 9 to 5, you work a 9 to 5 or 8 to whatever it is.
No, just every day.
Your job, say whatever you want to say.
By the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, just say what you want to say out in public, workplace, non-workplace.
See, now you're changing it. You're changing it. Nobody.
I'm not changing it. I've been saying that for the past 2 hours.
Somebody. You just put words in our mouth. Nobody.
I've been saying that for the past 2 hours.
No, you
said
that
for the past 2 hours.
No. You say, oh, you can go to work and say it. Nobody said go.
No. See again, I said.
Words have consequences.
I know what I said. I said words have freedom of speech has consequences. Again, go live your life thinking that you can say whatever you want, either be in the workplace or outside the workplace. Go out there and say what you want to say.
So let me ask you a question. What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything.
Then why won't you say what you want to say?
Again.
Hold up. Why won't you say what you want to say? What are you afraid of?
Okay, what do you want me to say?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? What are you afraid of?
I can tell you one thing you can say right now. Say fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Did it hurt you?
No.
Are there ramifications for you saying fuck
No. Wait. You said I'm afraid of. So what am I afraid of? Please tell me.
That's what I'm asking. You keep saying
I'm not afraid of anything. However, again, I decided not to partake in certain
things. Why don't you put your mic back in your mouth?
Yeah.
Bring your mic back.
Oh, I prefer not to partake in certain things. One thing is I'm not afraid of anything at all. But again, I'm not going to partake. I'm not going to just go back and forth because I know I can take shit to the next level. So for me, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. Hey, I'm just going to walk away. That's it. But there's no fear. I just made that decision not to partake in it. Now, if I don't have a choice, wait, hold up. If I don't have a choice in the matter, then I got to do what I got to do.
So what you're saying is you can't have a friendly debate with somebody in public without it escalating to a point where you get angry and you want to put hands on them.
I'm having a debate with you guys. Wait. I'm having a debate with you. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm having a debate with you.
You're saying, every time you reference what you're saying,
there's certain topics
I know me, and
there's certain topics that I prefer not to talk.
They're gonna catch these.
Come on, man. Listen, man. I'm not your other listeners, man. There's certain topics I prefer not to partake in.
You imply a certain way of how you would handle a conversation. If it got escalated, it sounds like the way you would have a conversation, it would escalate into some type of violence. And you don't want to have the ramifications.
Okay, first of all, everything leads to some type of violence. Is what it is. Okay, all right. You won. All right. All right, man.
What leads to violence? So my thing was, I understand you, and I would never tell someone to go into work and cuss somebody out at work, or even.
You can have guys. You can have a conversation about anything. No, I say there's certain topics I prefer not to partake in. That's just me. Certain topics. You speaking to someone who write blogs, who actually partake in plenty panel conversations. I don't have a problem with that. However, there's certain topics that I don't feel comfortable to talk about. That's my choice. I choose to partake in it or not. That's my choice. So if you want to sit there and have a long live stream, talk about nothing that I feel like it applies to me, I'm not going to partake in it.
No. Here's the difference, and I think what Ronan is trying to say, or even I'm trying to say, not to put words in his mouth. There's a difference between saying I don't want to partake in it because it's nonsense, it does me no good, it's nothing, or saying I don't want to take in it because I'm afraid of the consequences.
Why are you throwing the afraid thing in there?
I'm saying that we're saying that there is a difference.
You're not. What you're saying is you're financially or fiscally.
No, I just prefer not to partake in it. Wait, what about that? I'm just not interested. I'm not interested.
That's different. If you're just saying there's certain conversations I just don't have. I'm like, it doesn't do nothing. You know, if I go to work,
I've been saying that. Say, listen, I prefer not to partake in it. Just like I'm not interested. It's the same thing. It's the same goddamn thing.
No, it isn't. If I went to work and they were debating over veganism, I'm like, I'm not interested in that. It doesn't bother me. I don't want to take it. That's different than me saying I'm scared to talk about being a vegan.
Who said they were scared to talk about certain things?
Brother, maybe you just not comprehending what we say.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Nobody's saying
I'm
you're
not
scared.
comprehending.
I said there is
Or
a difference between not being interested in talking about something because you're just not interested.
Okay.
And then getting scared of talking about something because of that. I'm saying
there's certain topics. There's certain topics that I prefer not to partake in or not interested in. Doesn't mean I'm afraid to speak my mind. I just don't want to. I made that decision. Like, you know what? I'm
just
good.
said. You just agreeing with what I'm saying. There is a difference from having a conversation you don't want to have.
I've been saying that for the past 2 hours. I've been saying it.
No, that's not what you've been saying.
Oh, all right.
You said people. You said
you guys won.
People. You said people got fired from work.
You won. I lost. You won.
Dave was right, baby. Dave.
Yep. Again, this is me making a conscious decision to walk away from that conversation. It's like, you know what? You got it.
See, you're not. You're not afraid to walk away. You're just walking away because you're not interested. So you.
No. Now I'm walking away where we're not communicating to the point where you understand what I'm saying. So it's like I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm beating a dead horse.
Don't talk about animals. Michael Vick went to prison for beating dogs. So I wouldn't do that.
Hey, I'm not afraid to say we're beating a dead horse here. So
okay, so let me say this.
To stop it.
Let me say this.
I lost.
Let me bring up some relevant case examples. 1968 was Pickering versus the Board of Education. The teacher wrote a newspaper article or a letter criticizing the school board spending. Obviously, he was fired. Supreme Court said the teacher's firing was unconstitutional because his comments were about the matter of public concern and did not disrupt his ability to teach. Here's the problem with this. A lot of people they get jobs. They don't necessarily read their employee handbook. They don't necessarily know the rules of operation within a company. And they work in fear. They try to keep their heads down. They don't do what they're supposed to do in the first place. So they're always being looked at. So they're fearful on opening their mouths to say anything that's wrong with the company because they don't want to lose their job because they're black, they think they're going to be the first ones to be let go. Let's tell the truth. That's why you guys don't speak up. That's why you guys won't speak your mind about certain things. And maybe that's why sometimes you guys are being passed over because the seniors are looking for people that will speak their minds and be honest about the position of the company, where the company is going, projections. They always want to see change in the company. If you're too fearful to even open your mouth about an opinion, you're too fearful about opening your mouth up about how the company could possibly grow by leaping over here instead of going
that's bullshit. That's two different things.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're stretching right there. I have to disagree with you. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you. I have to totally disagree with you. So that's bullshit. Me, like someone not partaking in a conversation.
I did not say you. I did not say
I'm not using myself. I'm saying just in general. That's just two separate scenarios. That's it. Hey, I lost tonight, guys. Hey, you guys got this. I've been literally repeating myself for 1 hour and 57 minutes and 18 seconds. So you guys got this. You can bring on the guests so they can say they point to.
I didn't know we were going to open the panel or not, but okay. Oh, look at this.
I think that's one, actually, too. My fault.
Yo, I'm going to go ahead and read this special super chat from All Script Reactions, which was my brother Fearless over here. If you can't tell the difference in he's just got his glasses on in that picture there. You won.
Sorry about that.
You won. And the Crawford fight bet, you are fearless. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. The reason he had to send me that $10 super chat, it's not that he's being nice. He bet against Crawford. Brothers, you believe that he went for the Mexican dude?
I went for the Mexican had it.
He went for Canelo instead of Crawford, man. Come on.
Bad.
Never bet against black.
Roulette. What do they say about roulette, man?
Don't bet against black.
Nah,
always put it on black, man.
I know.
You went for the red guy, and he even had red hair too. Damn.
You're right.
But yeah, that was a good fight, and appreciate the $10 super chat from my brother Fearless. Thank you, sir. Pretty much. I don't know. We're at about 2 hours. I know you have some time restraints, Fearless. And I don't know if you got time, Black Man Travels. Did you want to have some people quick fire comments?
You can bring someone up. I'm
You
just
can
gonna
come
listen.
up. We're gonna let you rocket fire off a question. We're gonna put you back down, answer the question, and move on. We're not gonna hold a whole panel. If you guys got comments or you want to challenge us on the board on the panel here, we're gonna go ahead and let you do that. If you guys feel like maybe we're capping, maybe we don't know what the hell.
Rapid fire, 15-minute rapid fire. Then after that, we're gonna close it out. So don't be afraid. If you're gonna come up now.
By the way, we appreciate all the super chats today.
Mm-hmm. And make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to our channels. Do that. We need that support. You know,
I'm about to start, man. I'm buying a car this week.
Uh-oh.
I had to buy a car to get mobile around the Philippines. So I'm about to start getting on the road around here.
I hope it ain't one of them tiny Filipino cars.
No, man, it's a Ford Wrangler.
Oh,
they have Wranglers here, so they have different types of cars here that they don't have in the United States. But yeah, man, it's all a process. Like we're telling everybody, everybody doesn't run into a country and build up their resources. That's why I told you guys, you got to steadily build up your resources to where you're stable. You jump in, man, and you don't have your background set up. You know, I just flew into Manila last week before the last live and just flew back because that's where my VA and my hospital situation is. That's where some of my resources are.
Man, yeah, you're a big dude, man. When I bought my son a car, I remember picking him up from school, and he's like, "Man, you look like you in a driver's seat and the passenger seat." He's like,
you know, my boy Gary, we brought him on the show one time. The one did DEI. We did the live with the DEI, and he's big dude too. And we both used to ride in a Honda Civic together.
Man.
And both of our shoulders are so wide. We were bumping and fighting. Obviously, it was a stick, so he had to have the center console. But our shoulders were rubbing together in that small ass car. But you know, you do what you got to do. But yeah, man, it's not a comfortable situation. I'm not a small guy. Even if I wasn't fat, my shoulders and my arms are big. You know.
I think our freedom of speech brothers are scared to bring their freedom of speech. So here's the thing, guys. Now I will say this. In this sense, Black Man Travels is right. Don't go to work. Look, don't go to work being crazy, man. You go to work to work.
Okay. Hey, what's going on?
I'm here.
Did you mute yourself?
I'm here. I don't know what happened. You know, that freedom of speech, man. Somebody trying to get me at the FCC. They trying to stop me. But here, you go to work. That's it. You don't bring your politics. You don't bring your personal life. You don't bring religion. You don't need to bring any of that to work because unless you in politics or something of that nature. But a regular job, you're going there to perform. None of that stuff matters. And I keep those outside of work. So I don't want people to know anything about me. Married, not married, children, because that is my personal life. And I like to keep my personal life separate from my work life. And the reason I do that is because when I come home from work, I want to be able to do, say, and behave however I want to behave. Now, I know someone mentioned like this CEO. Sometimes in contracts, when you are high up and you are representing a company, they have certain, what is the clause?
Clauses, yeah.
Yeah, they have a clause, like a dignity clause.
Morality. Let's call a morality
clause. Yes. They have a morality clause. And that's the catch-all, be-all clause that they have. They say, if you're not doing that, because you as a CEO are the head and the figurehead of that company. So when you have those clauses, you have to abide by them and understand what they are. You don't put yourself in those positions, but you just make sure that you are straight. Don't go to work arguing. Don't go. You don't have to prove your point when you're at work. And even when you're outside of work, you don't have to prove your point, but you should not be afraid to speak your mind, especially if you have the evidence and things to pick it up. That don't mean you have to go off. That don't mean you have to go crazy. You don't have to say nothing stupid. If you say, hey, these are my facts, this is how I believe, and I'm basing it on this. That's it. People don't have to agree with you. But if you're saying this is, Now it is done. I wouldn't say it's done. When people just say, I believe it, well, why you believe it? Just because. That don't make no sense. But if someone comes to me and they say, I believe this, even if I don't believe it, and they say something with their evidence, you're like, well, some people may say, I believe in God. Why
We
do you
see you,
believe?
Joseph. We'll bring you up in a second.
Yeah, these are the reasons I believe. Now that may not make that may be scientifically correct. It may be like, hey, I was down in my life. I prayed this happened. Hey, that's your conviction. I can't take that away from you. So that's when you can have a debate on each side. Now, I still don't believe, even with Charlie Kirk, I still don't believe if you did not like the person on any side that you should say anything bad about them. It's still a life. And I say this like I said last week. The person I was at 20 is not the same person I was at 30, not the same at 40, and not the same at 50. Because life has a way of giving you and teaching you lessons. So don't take someone's life, because you never know what they could have became, what they could have changed into, what they could have influenced. And when that's said, we're going to bring Joseph up for his question. Joseph, go ahead, brother. Welcome back to the show.
Hey there.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Who you coming for? Who you coming for? What you got? What you got?
Man. I think I did ask the question in the chat. I'm not sure if I got a full, complete answer. I feel like you almost answered half the question. So I'll ask it again. Maybe you'll give the same answer. Maybe you overlooked it. I don't know. And that is, if you had, I know you say you got Asian employers, but let's assume you had Jewish employers, which a lot of people
If you
do.
have what? I know your mic just be a little off. I can't hear you a little
Is
bit. It just be muffled. But go ahead. I want to make sure I understand you.
That's great. Yeah, it's kind of hit and miss. Some people say it's clear. Some people say it's muffled. But just let me know if I need to speak louder or not. My question is, if you had Jewish employers, and and let's say you had a platform that was, you got 1,000, 2,000 people on your live, here you like 20, 30 or whatever, but you had a much bigger platform. You had Jewish employers, so you're still working the job you're working at. But in this scenario, you have Jewish employers. Would you have said what I recall you saying last week about the Jewish people and their situation on October 7th? Would you have been as brazen to say what you said then?
And you know how I would say it to them? I would say, to a people who were part of a Holocaust, who lost their lives, who lost everything, how can a people who suffered so much cause suffering to another people? And I would want them to answer. And I would say that would be as though I said, would you feel okay if black people rose up and started enslaving white people? That wouldn't be right. If I said, man, I was a slave, and so the only way, in all of this 400 years of me being enslaved and my family being raped and all of those things, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enslave my slaver and do to them what was done to me. Do you think that would be morally right? And that's the kind of conversation I would have. And I would say, as a person who is oppressed, as a person who went through the things you went through, and the Jewish slogan is always never again. If never again, because of how you felt, why would you do to someone else what was done to you? That's how I would approach it. And if they can't agree, and I'm going to say, me being a black person, I understand the oppression. And the way that I would never want to do is oppress someone else, to have them feel what I felt.
Okay. That's very different. That's nicer political answer response than what you gave last week. But
I don't, yeah, because I can say it intelligently, or I'd still tell them the same story. You know,
even if you had the Jewish
I would tell them the story, I could tell them the story about the dog. I mean, you ask if I told you this story about the dog, and I said, "Hey, you've mistreated this dog, you've beaten this dog, you've not done anything to this dog over the time, and you went out to feed the dog, and the dog bit you." Would you blame the dog or would you blame yourself? Or I'd say it about a child. You have a child that you mistreat, and that child grows up to not like you. Are you at fault or is it the child's fault? Because sometimes you have to tell a story to make someone empathize and put them in a situation. Because if you just say, "Oh, Palestine is wrong," they're always going to go back and forth. So if I say, you as a Jewish person, you have a child, you have your son. What if you just mistreated him and you talk down to him? And once he got 18, he didn't like you. Is he wrong or are you wrong? Because how I was always taught was you can't blame the student for the actions of the teacher. If I tell you something and you don't understand, it's not your fault. It's my fault because I wasn't the good teacher. So if your actions are getting that reaction, it happens to be your actions. And there's a point when you say, if you're a woman in a relationship and you say every man you date is bad, at some point it's not the men you're dating.
I agree. I mean, you basically described with the boy story, the moral story. You described the classic tale of David and Goliath. And so the story you described, you would put the Palestinians in that position of the dog being beaten and abused, or the boy getting abused and retaliating. But you wouldn't put that on the Jews, who are the ones defending themselves, who are the Davids in the situation. But
how are they the David? In my recollection of David and Goliath, Goliath was the big person. Goliath had all the weapons. Goliath was the stronger one, and David was the weak one.
I'm gonna get to that. You're talking about the underdog situation. It's the people who seemingly, but you're a very intelligent man.
Who's the underdog in this story?
Yeah, that's what I need to. You keep saying that the Jews are. I don't know.
The Israelites, or Israel itself is not the underdog in that area.
Yeah.
So you have to just give me a second to explain how this is so. Not more than a minute. Try to be brief. So, okay. If you look at geographically where Israel is located, which I know you know, it is a sliver. They say probably no bigger than the size of New Jersey, New York put together, perhaps. Maybe Maine too. And you look around who Israel is surrounded by. All Arab Muslim countries. Egypt. Palestine is about the size of Israel itself. But you look at all of the Syria, all the Muslim countries that surround them, even the countries that don't want the Palestinians. Those who support the Palestinians, it was impossible for them to have the weaponry, to have all of the resources that they had without the support of all of those much larger countries, and much larger population size than the 10 million little Jews in that sliver of a land that they're fighting to take for themselves. We have all of this other countries. So you look at the weapons and say, oh, that makes them the big guys. That makes them the Goliaths. But they have to have those weapons, at the very least, to protect themselves from the missiles that will fire into their own country, from Palestine and from all those neighboring Muslim countries. So on the surface, it looks like that they are the Goliaths. Oh, they're no longer the underdogs anymore. They're no longer the Davids in the story. It's the Palestinians. But you're not looking at who supports the Palestinians and where they're getting their power from, which is very much so a Goliath. That to me is a very logical.
Goliath? Who supports Israel?
Thank you.
Oh, that would be America.
So who's the Goliath then? So who is the Goliath? The little countries or the United States?
Without the support of America, Israel would have been annihilated long ago. So it's only by, in my opinion, because you don't believe in God, but it's only by the grace of God that we still exist.
Joseph, we just went over this about a week ago. Maybe you missed that. You know that was by design, though, right? Israel as a state itself, the statehood of the country it was only formed in 1948. That was by design of the British and the American government.
Yeah, it was
because they were having problems with the Palestinians. They literally took land from the Palestinians to give it to the Jews of Germany in 1948, and they have been propped up since that point in time to now. Jews or the Israelites have first priority, even on our top secret technology, to modify it before they buy it. They know all our government secrets. Why would a country have access to our top secret government information? Who is who? Who's the weak one and who's the strong one again?
Well, if that's your
and also there are certain sections that are Palestine. You agree? Like there's certain sections, say the West Bank. You can talk about Gaza. Let's say that Gaza is supposed to have Hamas. Is the West Bank run by Hamas? It's a rhetorical question. That would be no. So if the West Bank does not have Hamas, why are you killing people in the West Bank? If the West Bank has their own land, why are you setting up occupied territory into their land?
But then the money story. Do you know the money story? We just went over that. There's about $5 trillion worth of offshore gas that's between Palestine or Gaza and Israel. And they were negotiating a deal, but the oil companies wanted both of them to participate in the deal. It's just like, hell no, we want to have a separate deal. Well, since the oil companies didn't want to agree to it, what's the strategy now? If you want access to that $5 trillion worth of gas, you push them so far towards Egypt, they have no rights to the gas at all because now it's not their land anymore. It's Israel. Did you realize that?
This I would have to do more research on. It sounds dubious. I mean, but I don't know from
sounds diabolical. You being nice with dubious.
I don't know. I don't know which side.
You fake, or maybe it was real that Gazans came in and hit this festival. But
Maybe
you wait. Then you take it to the nth degree.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? This is military mindset. This is not me being empathetic as a civilian. This is me being a government entity as far as how do I make it seem like we're right in doing what we're doing.
So you're saying that they set this all
called counterintelligence. Counterintelligence is to do an evil thing to get a positive thing done.
That is an evil thing. Okay, man.
Thank you.
You want to deny all that? I mean,
let me show you this. This is what happened. I'm going to give you a quick history lesson.
Now you're going to give me a history lesson about something that I would know.
I'm giving you a quick history lesson. You can take it or you don't have to take it. Don't bother me.
Hold on, Ray Mama. We see you.
What happened was nobody took the Jews. Nobody. United States, Britain, nobody wanted them. You know who took the Jews in? The Palestinians. The Palestinians said, come here. We will help you out. Let me tell you. Oh, hold up. You think that's
let me video go to my ear from last week or a week ago?
Let me let the historian tell you what happened when the Palestinians opened their doors to the Jewish people.
Of course we'll let you in. So there was this confusion, I think, on the part of Palestinians. Wait, why are you doing this? What happened was it was so bad that there were Palestinians who were letting Jewish Europeans live in their homes. And then after partition, though, if the Palestinians stepped outside of the home, they'd come home and they'd find the locks changed. And they were like, wait, why can't I get in my home? And then the family, the Israeli family on the inside, just simply wouldn't open the door and wouldn't talk to them, wouldn't let them in, and they would that's how they would lose their home. And so in the mind of the Palestinian, this was just an upending of, wait a minute, we welcome you in, we put you in our house, we fed you, and then the first opportunity you had, you stole our home from us. Like they couldn't reconcile this.
I forgot about partitioning. That actually happened.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. Because
do you have the "Gold in My Ear" video that you played?
Hold up. Now I want to ask you that again. Who's Goliath? Who's Goliath?
You know, it's interesting.
See, you keep saying I'm not schooling you, brother. Obviously, there's a lot of history you don't know.
Well,
you keep talking. Hold up.
Now you telling me.
Hold up. Let me ask you a question. No, because this is what you're doing. You're doing, in a sense, what some white people do. You don't talk about nothing with slavery. You talk about your history from black people starts at Martin Luther King. And you say, wait, hold up, man. History was way before that. And all, when you say, well, why can't you do that? Martin Luther King, Obama was a black president. And you say, wait, we're in the position because we were great after slavery. And then you created these other, we had the Reconstruction, we were doing good. But then you created these Jim Crow laws. Then you had these redlining. Then you had certain laws to discriminate against us. And all of these things that transpired where we couldn't vote. We couldn't keep people in. And all you keep talking about is Barack Obama. And so you're in the sense of saying October 7th. And the person is like, you can't talk about October 7th without talking about 1940, 1948, 1960. You can't talk about what happened on that. That's just like an Indian person saying I'm on a reservation, and they're like, you should be happy in the reservation. You're like, hold up, bro. We weren't the terrorists. You came in and did something to us, and now you're blaming us. It's just like we always say what's great. Like if you talk about Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving for the Pilgrims sounded great, but they don't let you know what they really did was steal the food and try to take something from the Indians. But to them, it's like, oh, we shared something. No, you didn't share it. You stole it.
So your perspective.
They just paint a different picture.
That narrative.
Even the people from the CIA say that the worst people to have any relationship with is the Mossad and the people they don't trust is Israel.
But let him go ahead and get his. We're going to let you get your point off, and then I'm going to make one more comment. You can rebut to that, and we're going to bring up Ray Hama. We don't want to fill up the panel, but we want to have him put out his points of views. But go ahead, Joseph.
I mean, it's I guess it will be fair to say that I'm used to hearing this kind of conversation. This what they call. We don't like it as black people, black Americans, when people whitewash our history and what happened, or when people have selective biases and they pick and choose and cherry pick and say, well, you guys, you're free now, so therefore there is no more racism. But they gaslight us about it. So we don't like it when they do it to us. But when you have a whole group of people, not many, 10 million or so, who literally don't have any other place in the world to go to call their own home.
Brother, hold up. They were at a place. They were somewhere before they came to Israel. They had a home.
Let them finish, baby. Let them finish, please.
That's not what letting me finish is not the priority, which is cool because it's not my show. Because it's not me that needs to teach anything. I'm the one that needs to listen. But no, they did not have a home. And I would, again, when I say you're telling me about something that I would know intimately, that they didn't have a home because I grew up around it. For a large part of my life. So it's easy to disassociate yourself from people that you're not familiar with. But that you've heard.
So you just made an assumption that I'm not familiar with Jewish people.
It's going to be a pretty heavy assumption. Only because I can say it is an assumption unless you tell me otherwise. But to the extent that I had interacted with them to a much greater degree than the majority of black people I know, because I rarely saw people that looked like me in a synagogue.
Can I ask you a question then? if I have a white neighbor that grows up in a black neighborhood, does he really know black people? I don't care who you grew up with. I don't mean you aren't Jewish. Doesn't matter how many you grew up with. Just like a white person can grow up near me. That don't mean he black. But continue.
Well, if that white person grew up in a black neighborhood, they would have some sway until they would have some sort of perspective. Maybe not a wide scope, but probably greater than most white people who have never grew up in a black neighborhood. They would probably be closer to the truth than someone who has never been there. Someone who's read about the neighborhood, someone who's looked at studies or looked at statistics or looked at the news or propaganda, for example. So it's just not possible. And I don't expect other people to know that kind of history and to look more deeply into it I just don't expect it. They don't expect it either. And it's kind of like it's been like that since the time forever. The accusations and it's unfortunate really to see they have a home. Yeah. Well, with Germany, I guess there was a home. That didn't work out too well for them.
No, most of the Jews did not come from Germany, Russia, Poland, all of that. If you ask, we'll go. I can find page after page where they ask the Jewish people, "Where are you from? Where are your parents from?" None of them are from Palestine. None of them are from Germany, Romania, everywhere else.
Please look. All I want you to do, please, Fearless, just pull up the video and go to my ear because she just said it. The first prime minister of Israel, she said it during that interview. She was Palestinian until 1948. So, Joseph, what I'm trying to say is, unfortunately, religion has taught black people only how to be so forgiving that we forget. And we allow people to run over us, and they take advantage of that same religion and abuse you with it.
So you feel like I was abused?
We overstep how forgiving we need to be as a people, because at the end of the day, God wiped out whole nations when he took things over. Every man, woman, animal, everything. But for some reason, we think as black people, we're so omnipotent that we can go beyond what God's level of forgiveness is or anger and allow people to just continue to walk over us saying God's going to deal with this. No, God already told you. Turn the cheek one time. He didn't say be abused. But we allow ourselves to be abused with our faith and belief in God.
Yeah, that's true. That's a whole different subject, but I agree with you. I do.
But I'm gonna step you down. I'm gonna let him find that video, and I'm gonna let Ray come up.
I just want to ask him one question, or we can step him down. You said the Jews. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You said the Jews didn't have a place to go, or they didn't have a home. Is that what you stated?
In a sense of a country, of a land, like someone in Egypt knows they're Egyptian, they're from Egypt. Someone in Russia, they're from Russia, so on and so forth. Even us to a lesser degree, we know we're not originally from here, technically, somewhere in Africa, but we can still say America is my home. Born and raised. Whereas the Jews, it's kind of like they're in New York, they're a little bit everywhere, spread out all over the world, and everywhere they are not welcome or wanted at all. They've been persecuted. But just one little quick aside, you made the Muslims appear as if they were these benevolent people who welcomed these Jews into their homes, and then the Jews took over and they snuck in from the back door and locked them out, and
that's what happened. You don't think that anyone was living in that area? When you say they didn't have a home, that's like saying there's a homeless guy outside. He didn't have a home, and he decided to take my home.
What was that term he used? I forgot the name of the term. The shutout. There was what was the word that the guy just used?
I remember it. I guess my question would be, why do you think the Jewish people should be entitled to go into someone, because it was someone's home, it was someone's land, it wasn't just no one living there.
It was called Judea. These are basic.
No.
Oh, now shut me up real quick. It wasn't called Judea. It wasn't called.
Listen. It was called Palestine. But all the religions, including Muslim religion, has some relevance to that area. They all hold it in high regard, regardless of who owned the land itself. Christians, Muslims, and everybody else has a religious root in that region.
Correct.
Now it's everybody.
But it was the Americans.
Everybody's land, because there are 3 religions that stay there. You got the Wailing Wall. Where you think? What is that? The mount? What is that mount for the? They got the place where Jesus was supposed to be crucified, and you have the Muslims who have a mosque there. Yes, every religion is right there.
Why was the mosque? Okay, I mean,
because the Muslims have taken over that region for a while. There was always a war going on there.
The Crusades, brother. What do you think the Crusades was about?
The Americans and the British made an agreement. He's saying that the Palestinians welcomed it, but at the same time, I think it was a forced welcome, because the American and the British were having such a problem in the Palestinian region with everything that was going on with the Arabs that they decided to bring the Germans down there as a form of controlling, because they can monitor it more, while they were allowing the Jews to move down there from Germany and other areas.
I'm going to read this to you. It says, before 1948, the territory was referred to as Palestine under British rule. Prior to that, it was a part of the Ottoman Empire in World War I. So I'm not sure what you're saying.
Prior to that, you have to go. I mean, the Bible said, but I know.
Okay, so now what you're about to do with the Jewish people, like what they always say, that was promised to me 3,000 years ago.
Oh my goodness, brother.
That's what. How can you say I can go to this land, because in my Bible, in my religion, it was promised to me here? Huh? That don't got nothing. What about in my religion? What if I'm Buddhist? It was promised to me in my Buddhist
religion. We get ready to get on topic. I want to keep it on topic with freedom of speech. I appreciate you for coming up. I want to bring Ray Dama. He's been patiently waiting in the back. I'll put you down. If we decide to do a full open panel, then maybe we'll bring you back up. If we close it down, then we appreciate you for coming up and having a conversation with us. Hold on. Hey, Ray, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how y'all doing, bro? Brother Ronnie, brother, what's up, y'all?
Good.
Yeah,
what
man.
You got on the speech thing?
Yeah, I ain't getting on that. I ain't getting on that shit. Yeah, he went way left field. But nah, man, with this whole freedom of speech shit, it's like kind of multi-dimensional when you look at it, because it's basically, and what's really like sparked it, like put it on this big spotlight right now is this whole Charlie Kirk situation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and and in some ways I'm glad too, because there's a lot of cats that needs to be, men and women who need to be held accountable. And if that accountability comes when it comes to, letting them go from their job, then so be it. Because I guarantee you, a lot of those cats who were released from their job because of the wild things they said, I guarantee you there's no telling, but it's somewhat, I'm sure to a great degree, that they have or was undergoing on some shady shit themselves on their job. Who knows? They may be the corrupted elements within their job that needs to be squashed, so the business can be a strong success.
But if those people were just good at their job and they never brought their personal life to their job, someone was just being a Karen going onto their social media and found something, should that person be fired? Meaning they're good employees. Great. They show up at work on time. They do their work. They never even talk at their work. Should that person be fired because of what they said after work on their own time?
I mean, well, like if I had a business and I was thinking about like in the eyes of the employer, um, when God knows I'll run my stuff better than a lot of these employers. Uh, but, and I would look at it like this. If I see an employee of mine, just overheard or, some bug was put in my ear about what an employee of mine said about a certain particular situation, such as this Charlie situation, I'm going to render them as a wicked individual. No matter like man or woman, especially to their woman, I don't give a damn how big and her titties and ass is or cute her face is, none of that. No. I'm about banishing all wicked motherfuckers from my job. So, and there's red flags that people sometimes ignore because of certain other reasons, you know what I mean? But, because that same kind of wicked mindset can lead to other things, exposing other stuff, and a lot of times those people who are of such mindsets, they may somewhat when I come across those people, they have such wicked mindsets like that, while working with them, they're kind of vindictive and spiteful and petty. But those who don't think like that, who don't have such wicked mindsets, they're the ones I find that are chill, laid back, to themselves, ain't trying to be in a bunch of people's faces. Those are the ones that are trying to do their job, and always real. So
I found all the ones who don't say nothing are the ones who live in that crazy life that, when the neighbors say, he never acted like that. I never knew he was like that. He just kept to himself. Those are the ones that got a body in the back and they eating somebody.
Oh, he said those are the ones that got a body back.
I'm just saying, how many times they go to the neighbor and be like, he was just such a good neighbor. He never caused because the person who doing all that drama, they don't want no drama. They don't want nothing to be said. So my thing is, if you're getting rid of the person who just talks, if they causing drama, they doing that. That's another thing. What happens to the person who never says anything? I think that's the more person you got to be worried about. The person who suppresses it and feels a certain way, but doesn't say it at all, has no expression about it. Because you know what happens? Most of the school shootings are not the people who talked and I hate black people and these black people. It's none of them, bro. It's the person who just woke up one day, who was bullied, who never said nothing to nobody and brought that gun into school. I'm more afraid of that person than the person who talks all the time. Because at least the person who talks, I know what they're about. I know how I can navigate what they're saying. But if I start shutting them down, the person who would express themselves says nothing. That's the person you got to be afraid of.
Well, Brother Fearless, since you said that about when it comes to the shootings, mass shootings, the last two of them, if I'm correct, were LGBT clan, right?
Mm-hmm. It could be. I don't know. I think one in Colorado, is that the last one?
They like to fall back on that as a discreditor for maybe somebody in the right falling out of alignment and wanting to take things in their own hand. So you never know about that. Everybody wants to say somebody's gay or lesbian, so it detracts from the real truth. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
They always want to throw that out there. It's like, oh, he wasn't really a white man. He was a sexually confused white man. So he don't count in the in the rule book. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing.
Oh, I would let the ass know. Hell no, he's still from y'all clan, y'all main clan. Damn it, no, he's still from y'all main clan. Fuck that. I don't give a damn. He got blue hair. He's still from y'all clan.
Right. So when it comes to freedom of speech and everything else that's going on right now with all these comments with Charlie, do you think there's a preferential enforcement of the law when it comes to this man that got shot and killed versus some of the other things that have happened in the past? Tamir Rice, George Floyd, people slandered these people's names all over the media. No repercussions whatsoever what was being said, whether they work for the government or private organizations.
Now, when that law came to my remembrance, with the spark of all this, yeah, I was definitely pissed. I was like, oh man, like hell no, nah, well then, damn, if y'all gonna, Mr. President Trump, if you're gonna do this kind of baby back bullshit, then which I wouldn't call all the way halfway baby back bullshit, but it's baby back bullshit to me because, when it comes to Charlie, you want to like release people from their jobs. So let that be the same when it comes to those, from our ilk, who died, by the atrocities of your fellow white folks.
Exactly.
Especially, especially too, like, hey, Mr. President, right along with this, you need to exercise great punishment upon those who will use your fellow white women to tear down and destroy black men, like I've been doing since the beginning.
But that's what happens when you have selective freedom of speech. If you have selective freedom of speech, it's I only want to go against people who do not have my view. And the people who think like me, they can say whatever they want. And so when you put people in those boxes of, if you agree with me, you're right, and you don't agree with me, you're wrong, that's a dangerous box to put people in. That's why I said you almost have to say, just say what you want to say. It shouldn't be punished, because if you start doing that, what happens is at one point somebody will say, you'll be on the right side now, and another time you'll be on the wrong side. And
Right.
like,
And the biggest thing is, if you guys notice, everybody we brought up on the videos, they were all white people that were concerned. It wasn't black folks talking, oh my God, we need to worry about it was white people saying, oh shit, if this starts happening on a more regular basis, not even we are safe, based on his opinion on what's right and what's wrong, based on his full-blown anger towards the news media. I just showed you where he tried to sue the New York Times because of slanderous things they might have said against him, even though they could have been the truth. He called it slander. He's the one that propagated fake news. We got in an argument over that, me and Fearless, talking about what's real news versus fake news, and all news is incorporated now. We've already gone through all that. But there was a time where news media was held in high regard because they would verify and fact check their sources before they would go to print, because they would be able to be held liable if they were fucking wrong. Now it doesn't matter anymore because corporations have taken over, and now it's a business more so than telling the truth.
And what scares me more, Ray, I can understand a private, I could even go with BMT and say, look, it's a private corporation, and a private corporation, they can run their business however they want. They can have whatever rules. My issue comes in when the government is trying to dictate the speech of a private people, and the government comes in and says, if you don't do this, we won't allow a merger to go.
You know who does that already? Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Russia controls their media with an iron fist. So does China.
And we talk about China. We say, they got propaganda and they don't let their people know the truth. And Google isn't allowed in there, whomever, because there's certain things you can't see because they dictate it and limit it. And we talk about those countries, but that's the country we're becoming. If we say the government is going to limit the speech of private organizations, that's not capitalism. One, we live in a capitalistic society where monetarily and the people should dictate what is successful and who should.
You don't like what he says? You don't supply like Black Man Travel said? They don't have to come to your store. They can just white you out by protesting against you and closing you down. If that's the way business used to be. The strong survived. The new ones that came up would eat the weak. That's the way business was. Now we do bailouts since 2008. When the fuck did we start bailing out banks? If you were a weak bank and you didn't know how to fiscally save your money and budget it out, and you wound up falling out, the next bank that was up and coming took over. Whoever brought you out.
I'll say that's a natural order.
That's natural order. That's the way things were done in business. Now it's all about the bailout. When did the government start getting in and bailing out corporations?
But then again, I'll say, hey, if
and then
there's
corporations, here's the thing: if the government bailed out corporations and corporations owed the government back for the bailout, shouldn't the American people get a share of the profits of the companies that were bailed out by governmental funds, which is our tax dollars?
Yeah,
shouldn't
I'll
we
say so.
pay back in a windfall for that?
Yeah, because I'll say this: it's like people we can't say, hey, well, in a way we can and way we can't, say, hey, if this country is thriving because of these set of rules that we need to adapt, and then there's certain things, certain regulations they have that may not fit or feel as like fitting for our country. But I would say, yeah, there's things that other countries do that we need to create our own thing, to do and not follow their route on certain shit, but there's certain shit that we do need to take note of, and that's and one of the things is they got full control. But like Dubai with the whole thing and the strictness of littering, they'll put you in jail for littering, and women can be yelling at men. If they do, they'll be facing a year in jail, like that sassy truck chick. Yeah, I remember that. And she ended up turning out to be actual really crazy. So, yeah. And her family needed to come with $14,000 to get her out.
I don't remember how much it was, but yeah, she got stuck for a minute.
Yeah. So much for free speech on that one.
I just want to say real quick, we're gonna shut this down in about 15 minutes. Anybody else wants to hit the link, make a comment on freedom of speech, and try to stay on point with that, then we'll give you about 15 more minutes to hit the link, come up, and we can address any questions on a one-on-one. We really appreciate you guys coming out tonight and listening to our rants and our opinions, because at the end of the day, it's all our opinions. We all have our own personal life experiences between myself, Fearless, and Black Man Travels. And, there's no one way to get it done, So at the end of the day, it's up to you on how much you allow governmental influence in your life and your business life and your personal life too. You can turn off TVs, you can turn off a lot of things, but certain things, once you walk out that door, you're going to get hit in the face with it. You either play along with the game or you leave the game.
Hey, can I say something to add on to what you was talking about, bro? Like in standing 10 toes down again, in the name of standing 10 toes down and all was righteous against these wicked people who try to control you as a robot or as a puppet, But then again, if you follow or allow them to control you, they won't respect you, and there's no guarantee of longevity. You may, as they say, a coward dies 1,000 deaths. You may end up being at a job longer than the guy who expresses a backbone, but you gonna still be bound to, getting fired because they in all was natural. Cats don't respect people who be putting their faces in people's asses, and following their every command. And and I can't stand that kind of shit, man. And I can't stand it when they act like you cannot have a backbone as a man, especially predominantly as a Black man in these in corporations, because I'm like, y'all can take a boot up the ass because Ray ain't gonna one verse a million. Nah, y'all ain't gonna be trying to rule over me like that, and if you don't like something that I said online, but it's not devastating like when it comes to, talking about Charlie Kirk, because there's people that got fired over saying something that's less than that.
Right.
So, and that, that right there is ridiculous. But when it comes to saying stuff like this, all this wicked, evil shit they be saying, about Charlie, as he basically in the midst of him dying or, being dead. Yeah. And what happened to him, mocking it. Yeah. That's, that's not, that shouldn't be ignored. Like, people got a habit of ignoring red flags until it's too late. So I'll say if you're not going
quick, are you of the opinion that if you're in certain jobs, you should not be talking negative about anybody, correct? Not just one person.
right, yeah, anybody, amen. Like,
Okay.
especially like, just, oh man, some of the stuff I heard, I'm like, hell no. Cause like when you hear certain people, and then they reveal like basically who they are through making such vile statements, like you got to be a fool to still want that person in your circle, whether that's your personal circle or business wise, because like I don't know about anybody else, but I can't do business with guys who are diehard simps. They're highly detrimental. But real talk, bro, they're highly detrimental to a damn business when you look at the layers of it.
Happen. I mean, so pretty much you're talking about people that put on airs in business, personal life, everything else. People put on airs. People can only lie for so long. It's just like a girl. She acts like she's innocent, blah, blah, blah. Over a period of time, as you vet them out, though the truth comes out in the wash eventually.
Ray,
You know what I mean?
I think you said something about standing 10 toes down and being who you are. It makes me recall this joke. So I'll try to remember. It says, there's a guy, he meets this girl and he says to her, "Hey, would you spend the night with me for $10,000? And the woman says, "Yes." Hell yeah, I spend the night with you for 10,000. Then the man asked, he said, "Well, how about if I just paid you $1?" And she looked at him and said, "What kind of woman do you think I am?"
Mm.
He said, "Well, we already established what kind of woman you are. We're just negotiating the price." You see, the difference is she already said she's a whore. Now, either she's a $10,000 whore or a dollar whore. So she's already the whore. So she's already let you know her morality.
We see you, Mercy. Hold on.
So either her morality is, I'm going to get this much money or not this much money. But we've already established the type of woman you are. It's just the price you're willing to take.
Thanks, Ray. We appreciate you coming up. Hey, by the way, Ray Hama has a good channel. Talks about a lot of the anime and different things that are coming up. He has also on Rumble. I'm a subscriber, so all we got are black men. Subscribe to Ray Hama and go check out his content. Thank you, Ray, for coming up.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it, man. And I was about to plot on going live here real soon, like in the next 45 after I download these videos.
Once we get off, go ahead and go on over to Ray Hama.
Hey, put your channel in the chat, Ray.
Yeah, drop your.
I will. It'll just take me some time to gather the thumbnail and stuff like that or whatever. But what I'm covering real quick is this panel, this panel in UK, that backchat shit, the backchat London.
I never heard of that.
I don't know that either.
I'm gonna cover that, man, because it kind of got a little heated and and they got some numbers and I got some shit I want to say, man, because man, it's just
well, it's daytime for me, so he's going to bed. I'll be up. I might just travel over there. But thanks, Ray. I'm gonna bring up Mercy Justice next. Appreciate you for coming up. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, bro.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to back him down so fast, but. What's up, Mercy? How are you doing? Welcome to the panel. We're talking about freedom of speech and whether you think the consequences of people talking about Charlie Kirk are equal to what the law is, or you think they're given the fact it's Charlie Kirk and he's more of a MAGA right type of personality. I mean, he did help promote and get Donald Trump elected, that they're making it more preferential, personal type of law enforcement or employment enforcement, that is.
Well, you have freedom of speech. You have freedom of speech. However, I don't have to pay you for your speech. And if you working for me, if I have a company, you working for me, you need to promote my label. And if you talking about stuff that does not help my business, then or hurts my business, then I have to let you go. I mean, that's just the way
So
it is,
what if
bro.
they doing this? I guess you have them employed from say 9 to 5. So at 5:01, they ain't a part of your business. They say what they want to say. Can they do that? Or are you still firing them for what they say after they clocked out?
I mean, that happens all the time, bro. I mean, you see people who get in trouble, get in legal trouble. You see people who do stuff that the employer don't like, and that happens all the time, all day long. You know, I'm in the schools, a very political position, man. Dudes I say principals get fired for being at the strip club. Just being in the
Damn.
strip club, they got fired. Being in the strip club. Somebody took a picture of, oh, the principal, oh, well, that's not a good look for the board. That's not a good look for the Board of Education. You know, so I'm just giving you that example. I mean, he should be free to go to the strip in his free time, right? He
I
should be,
agree.
right?
He should be.
You know, but the school system like, nah, that's not a good look. That's not a good look for us. We don't want our principals and our educators being at the strip club. We, you know, word get around that our educators at the strip club. You know.
So what happened? So what is it? Give me something that you are for. You said you're in a political. So what are you for? Like, say, are you for abortion? Are you for
No,
gun
I'm
violence?
against abortion.
All right. So what happens? What happens if this 5:01, the board says, look, a woman's body is a woman's body, bro. And if you can't agree with that, we got to let you go because that's not in line with what we got. Is that fair?
Well, see, that's not what they do.
I didn't ask what they do. I said, is that fair? Because here, hold up, Mercy. Here's what happens. When we start drawing these lines and we start making these lines, who is drawing these lines? Who is making the rules? And whoever makes those rules, sometimes those rules change. They might be with you right now, but not with you later on. Because those are arbitrary lines. When you said it might not happen, how you know?
Because
they might say that. Go ahead. No,
go ahead. Mercy.
We talking about freedom of speech. That's what we talking about.
Right.
We're not talking about your personal beliefs. We talking about you can't control what come out your mouth. That's what we talking about. I can secretly pray.
No, because the guy that got fired from the school had no freedom of speech. He didn't say anything.
Let him finish. Go ahead, Mercy. I don't want you to.
You have the right to secretly have your own opinions. You can do that. I mean, I don't agree with everything my boss say. I'm not gonna curse him out. I can't tell him everything going through my head. I can't do that. And if you think you can do that, but see, we living in this time. We live in people feel like they can say anything to come out their mouth. That's how they feel these days. These people feel like they can say anything. They have the right to say anything they want. But that's not how things go. If we're talking about freedom of speech, we're not talking about how you feel at home. We're talking about what you come out your mouth. We're talking about what you promote. While I'm on that clock, I'm promoting the label.
Mercy, you just said two contradictory things.
Yes.
Because what we were saying is at 5:01, I can do whatever I want. And you just said while I'm on the clock, you can't cuss your boss out. I agree. You at work. But at 5:01, you can go wherever you want. Your opinion, your opinions of what you feel has nothing to do with your work. You did great job from 9 to 5. You busted your ass. At 5:01, you want to do something else that is contradictory to what your job does. And if you want to talk about Black Lives Matters and you work for the KKK, should you be able to do that? You're like, brother, I ain't on your job. My job, I don't talk about nothing political. I don't talk about nothing racial. I don't talk about nothing. I just do my job and come in. But at 5:01,
in the same show, if you're off the clock, then the principal should have never got fired if it wasn't a morality clause, because he was off the clock at a strip club. And by happen chance, somebody clicked the picture while he was in a strip club. All of a sudden, now it's an ethical, moral thing, and he's being fired. He was doing the thing that would do as a man. He went to a strip club. The brother can't even relax a little bit and have a little female company without it being some type of implication that he's immoral. because he went to a strip club that's legal in the city. It's not an illegal strip club. It's a legal strip club. He didn't do anything illegal, but it was the thought and the look of the fact that you have a principal in a strip club, and it caused him to get fired.
And what I would have said is, what if it was a gay strip club? I bet he wouldn't have been fired.
Oh, hell.
They would have been like, oh, yeah, we can't fire him now because he's gay. It would have been straight up no.
So then is that preferential treatment and implementation of either immoral laws or clauses in contracts as far as employment? And it seems specifically geared towards comments towards Charlie Kirk. Now, there was a whole school shooting at the same time this was happening to Charlie Kirk. Who got the majority of the news lines when this happened? Was it the school shooting or was it Charlie Kirk? Think about that.
Oh, no,
why was Charlie Kirk even more than the school shooting of young children? You're talking about, you're a Christian nationalist. You're talking about you believe in the Second Amendment of carrying guns. You're talking about school shootings need to be implemented or have to happen in order to have Second Amendment. You're talking about all these things that literally happened all at the same time. The irony behind all that is crazy in itself. Some of the same subject matter he's talking about, not only did he die by it, it was happening at the same time he had gotten shot. Crazy work if you think about it. But who got the headline? The school shooting or Charlie Kirk?
Now, we all know Charlie Kirk came from a wealthy family. He doesn't
He got
have
what?
to work for, he came from a wealthy family, which means he doesn't have to work for anybody. He has that kind of money. So, we got to take that into consideration too.
Well, he had assistance with a private entrepreneur to help him co-found Turning Point USA. Once he got into Turning Point USA, he became the mentor or the mentee of the same. We know his whole story, his whole background story. Okay, so he has been prepped, and he was getting prepared to either go into politics. He knew everybody first name basis and straight up, from everybody from the president to the Speaker of the House within the Republican Party. A lot of these governors were personal friends of his. It's a non-elected.
So he's not your average typical American then.
He
has access to resources. So when someone that works a typical 9 to 5, a typical American that makes average pay, he may have to be mindful of what he or she may have to be mindful of what they say, either during working hours or off hours, just like the gentleman mentioned about the principal going to a strip club during his own personal time. It's a certain image you must uphold. It's what it is, man. You guys talk like, hey, everybody's in your position. No, most 95% of black people are not in your position, Roland. It's what it is. So to think that, hey, we have freedom of speech, you should say what you want to say, you scared. It's not that, man. Dude, people got to fucking make a living. Okay, I made a point. I expressed how I felt. What fuck? It doesn't matter if you got to put food on the table. And especially right now in this current job economy, you think people are willing to risk their jobs just to say a point?
You know what?
Things ain't work. Look,
I think the people who do are heroes, because that same
and let them be heroes.
That same story happened in Alabama during the Alabama boycott, where they said, "We'll walk to work. We won't catch the bus." Now, if there was people that said, "I ain't walking,"
that's a whole different situation.
No,
man.
brother, I'm repeating exactly what you just said. People got to work. People got to put food on their table. If all the people, if we could not come together because people were so scared to do that, nothing would have gotten done. If people said, "Man, Martin Luther King here, I can't go to jail for these Negroes. I can't walk around at this bridge. Look what happened to me." See, that's that weak mind I'm talking about.
No.
Everybody's
like always, you being extreme about the situation.
You're being extreme. I can't do it. I'm not willing to do it. I'm
Dude,
not
that's
willing
a whole
to.
different
I'm not willing to
situation.
fight the
We're
fight
talking about
because if
people who are losing their
everybody hold
job
up,
based
if
on.
everybody stands up, people was going to lose
Let's
their
talk
job
about the
too.
current event. People are losing their job based on this whole thing around Charlie. Is what it is. That's the hot topic right now. It's not about
Right.
civil rights. It's not about none
People
of
was
that
losing
stuff.
people was losing their job
We're
because they
talking
wanted
about
to
this.
integrate
All right,
school.
but BMT,
All
if
right,
you paid
okay.
attention, listen, wait. Black Man Travels.
Don't worry, I go back to silent.
No, we don't want you to. But here's the
I'm
thing:
good.
if you looked at the news reporters, they were white. There were white people on those panels that were concerned with the implement the situation that's going on right now. I can't even get that word out. But the situation is going on. It's concerning to even white people. That's when your ears and your little antennas should be going off like, fuck, even white people are concerned with what's going on right now. A white man, Jimmy Kimmel, got fired for making a sideways joke. Not even direct. It was sideways. He didn't attack the man. He attacked really Donald Trump by his concern over somebody supposed to be his best friend or one of his friends about how Donald Trump shifted the conversation when he was questioned about Charlie Kirk to something being built at the White House or renovated. That shows deep concern on the president's behalf, but everybody else is taking it to the nth degree in the government. From the FCC, who enforced or pushed ABC or NBC to fire Jimmy Kirk Kimball and everything else. These are not black people that are in control of this. It's the white people. So that's why I'm saying, yes, we're blacks and we should pay attention to what's going on in the job market and how we keep our jobs and trying to protect our interests when it comes to our incomes. But when white people are generally concerned about something like that, you gotta pay attention to that. You gotta see that that needs to be a concern of everybody's.
So if one white man kills another white man, I have to have an opinion about it.
No, you don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to say a word. There's plenty of other people saying it for you. But the whole thing is, there's plenty of other people saying it for you. The point is, those people that are saying it are being held to a standard that's not even a regular standard between the media and everything else. That's why the media is getting upset. It's like, wait a minute, we're in the media. You're saying you're going to start holding us accountable for commenting on a truth. Nobody's telling lies here. They're telling the truth about the media, the news that they're reporting, and they're being held accountable. And comedians always use some parts of truth when they tell a joke. The joke that Jimmy Kimmel told was not necessarily towards Charlie Kirk. It's the inference that Donald Trump was so concerned about Charlie Kirk when he was asked that question, he didn't even address the question. He addressed the renovations that were going on in the White House. But yet and still everybody else was being held to task and being fired for commenting about Charlie Kirk. You see the difference?
We got one white man killing another white man, and I'm trying to figure out why we got to be involved in that, man.
We're not involved.
We had one white man step on another black man's neck. Why we got to be involved? It didn't concern
Now
you.
that's a different situation.
Oh, no, it ain't, brother. It's the same thing you just said.
No,
Same thing you just said. See, now you know what I'm talking about, Mercy. See, now you drew a line. See, now you're what you're saying is important, but one white man kill another man ain't important. See, when you draw that line, how it gets a little different.
Well, they're killing each other though.
Just like we're killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they don't have a problem with we can say nigga our mouths all day long. We can call each other bitches, hoes, and everything else. Just like Fearless said earlier. The minute you start talking about the little short hats, all of a sudden it's a no-no. Why do you think that is?
Well, let's say we got a black man kill another black man. You think
they don't give a fuck about that? Matter of fact, they're gonna put it in the first page.
I'm about to ask you a question.
Okay.
Black man kill another black man. You think a white man should have an opinion?
They do though.
I know, but you think they should be loud about it, all the news and everything, telling you what they think when two
They
black
do
men.
because they say we're
They do.
criminals, we're thugs, and that
Nah,
just
they talk about
proves
all
their
of them.
point. They just
No,
proves
they
their
talk
point
about
that
all
we
of
don't
them.
know how
They
to
don't talk
control
about those
ourselves.
two.
We're a
They talk
bunch
about
of
all
people that are uncontrollable. We don't even know how to take care of our own people. But yet, and still, when it's white on white crime, they downplay it. And that's what I was talking about earlier. They downplay not only the white on white crime, they downplay the disposition of the assailant, the person that actually did the crime. Oh, he might be gay, or he's not part of our real group of being the MAGA people that are the extreme right. He's got to be defective in some way because he went against his people. You get what I mean? They don't give the same black person that killed somebody else in the black community that defective nature. They call him a thug, and that's typical of how they talk about us in the media versus how they talk about white people that do crimes. There is a difference.
So you think because two white people killed each other, black people shouldn't have an opinion?
I don't think you should put your job on the line for it.
Why would you be putting your job on the line?
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. We talking about
No, I'm
what you willing
saying,
to sacrifice for your opinion, because it's gonna cost you.
why is it going to cost you?
It's costing some people. We
I'm
already
saying,
talked about
why
it
is it going to
costing people,
cost you?
right?
So,
For having an
so my
opinion, right?
question would be, it goes back to this. What is it that you scared to say that you can't say
But
because you're afraid of losing your job?
It's not that I'm afraid to say.
The
First
fact that
of
he keep
all,
on saying scared, like
that's what I'm
it's
saying, man.
interesting,
Why I
man.
need to be involved in that, man? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how that got to do with me, man.
All right. Let's take that out. Black Lives Matter.
I'm just
Let's
trying
go
to
Black
figure
Lives
out
because
what
you
that
want to
got to
talk
do
about
with
the
me,
white on
man.
white. Let's say Black Lives Matter. You want to say, man, Black Lives Matter, but you can't say it because your job is against that. Do you say it or not?
First of all, when it comes to Black Lives Matter,
No, don't say, don't do no conditions.
No.
If
I
your
mean,
job is against Black Lives Matter,
okay,
do
but
you say anything about Black
can
Lives
we
Matter?
talk about? Can we talk about Black Lives Matter? Can we talk about the scandal they're in? Can we talk about the financial situation there, how they misuse the money and all of that? We can't just take any of that into consideration. I
No,
can't
I'm
take
just
none of that
saying
into
it
consideration.
in anything. What subject?
No,
I'm
he's
not
not
giving
talking
my
about
life
Here,
for
here's
Black Lives Matter.
let me clean this up for him. It's not about the organization Black Lives Matter. He's saying in general, Black Lives Matter. You know how when we first started saying Black Lives Matter, before the organization was happening and all this other shit, first thing they said was Blue Lives Matter. There's always a counterpoint to us kind of calling out the fact that we're being abused by police. Their counterpoint was Blue Lives Matter. And then it went to the extreme of if Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, so do white lives. It's always a deflection to things that we want to stand up for. And we allow it to happen a lot of times, regardless of the organization. Let's just look at the people. Black Lives Matter, right? We matter. We do matter. We're the basis and the root of this country and how it was established, right? So every time something happens to us, we again, religious based, whatever, we want to deflect and say, oh, we should be forgiving. And white people take advantage of that so much about us. We allow things to be pushed under the rug so much in our community, where if it was an outrage in the small hat community, the white community, and several other communities, it's fucking outrage. For us, we'll forgive them. How many times we got to forgive people before we call a fucking spade a spade? Or say it's unjust? Or saying there is preferential treatment being given in the media towards a white person versus how they address black people, which we already know. We're called thugs and everything else, and white people are called mentally disturbed or gay or lesbian or whatever in order to detract the fact that they're normal red-blooded white boy that did something that he believed in regardless. But we accept that too. You get what I mean?
Well, first of all, my life matters, and the people in my family lives matter. That's number one.
Okay.
And so I deal with that first because my life is what's important to me. My family lives is what's important to me.
Right.
So, I start there.
Okay.
And so I don't get
And
caught
then
up
when do you branch out?
I don't get caught up. See, what I'm saying is I don't get caught up in cliches and popular sayings, because when you do this, what you do is you team up with people who don't agree with you in different, because I believe being professional as well. I don't just believe in having a point. I believe in having a point and handle it professionally and handle it with some type of decorum. Everybody don't agree with that. So that's why I don't get caught up on popular sayings, because when you do this, what you do is you connect yourself with certain personalities, and I don't always agree with those personalities. I just don't.
Right.
I mean, I just don't. I don't think it's cool to curse somebody out. I don't think it's cool to be having your pants hanging off your butt and all that. See, I'm not with all that. So you got to be full circle with me. Can't just be Black Lives Matter, but then you calling me nigga and you pointing the gun in my face. See, we can't have it all like that. See, it's got to be full circle, because the same people that say Black Lives Matter are the same people that we know do other things. So we can't
Right.
act like these other things don't go on.
Let's call them opportunists.
That's all I'm saying. We can't act like these other things don't go on.
Right. But I get home, take care of home first. Understandable. We're protective providers. We take care of our home first. But when do you branch out, and why aren't we a community? Because we all know when you fight together, you're stronger than fighting individually, right? You can be torn apart that way.
How we still going?
I don't know. He's the last one. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but see, you gotta understand too, like my dad used to say all the time, we stuck together because we were forced to. See, that was the law. See, that was the law. We stood together in the community because it was separate but equal. They made us stay in the community together. They didn't allow us to go to their
So
restaurants.
you're
They
saying
didn't
if we
allow us to.
weren't forced to be together, we wouldn't be together as a people.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just talking about what he told me. He said black people were forced to be together, so we were together because they didn't allow us to do certain things, so we did it ourselves. And that's just all. I mean, we came together because we were forced to. You don't agree with
But
that?
isn't that a source of strength?
Huh?
When you come together like that, isn't that a source of strength and protection
But
in
they
the
were
community?
forced to. See, that's the point. We can't skip over that
But
part.
when you say force, that means they didn't want to do that anyway. They rather be individuals. We
People
would
are
rather be individuals.
People are naturally selfish. Are we not? Are we not selfish?
I don't think we all are selfish like that. I mean, we have our own individual goals that we want to achieve. There's a lot of people that
listen to our music,
are
man. Listen to our
philanthropy and
music.
give up
Come
our
on. Why we
time.
doing this, Ronnie? Listen to our
But
music, man. Listen to our
that's
music.
not
What
my
you talking
music.
about?
When you say our music, don't say that. There's a lot of music that out there that might be associated to community. A lot of us don't support it. You probably don't support it either. So don't say our music, because I don't even think you claim it.
Okay, but the music that sells among our people, can we say it that way?
Yeah, and the industry is projecting that image because of why? You're intelligent. You know why they're allowing that
But
stuff
our
to go out
people
there.
are still buying it though, Ronan.
Just like they buy the fuckery, even on the panels in the rooms.
So
That's what we've been taught to like. How did we grow up?
So if we buy that music, if we support that, we spend our money on that, then what does that say?
We have a long way to go in our community. Seriously. That's true. You know that. You got a long fucking way to go. Because every other community comes in and excels. Black Man Child will sit on this panel and tell you. This community's close-knit. They came to do and put their head down and work. That's how they got ahead. STEMs, science, technology, education, math, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They are focused. When you have immigrants come in, they blow us up out the water because why? We're so busy trying to be selfish. Other people are taking advantage of the things that were put in place for us. And that's why I say our community is weak. Whose fault is that? You can say the government, you can say redlining, you can say a whole bunch of things. So if it's their fault, when do we start changing it? How do we start changing it? Somebody's got to speak to the evils and the immorality that is going on in our community. Because other communities aren't allowing that shit to happen. But we promote it as being great. When you got NBA and NFL stars celebrating Big Meech getting out of fucking jail. These are educated men that went through.
This is why we don't go long, brother. I'm sorry. I got to stop it. We go long because we get way over. We at 3.5, and I thought we was ending an hour and a half.
We good. We good. But we're going to go ahead and end it now. But it's a great topic. We can probably bring it back again, depending on what's going on in the community. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and land this plane. Appreciate you coming up, Mercy, and contributing to the live. And go ahead and close this out, Fearless.
All right, brothers. We appreciate you joining. Please like, subscribe, and go to our places and comment. I want you to stay sharp, stay strong, stay fearless, because you are either fearless, brother, or you are forgotten.
I know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits, excuse me. I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, you can see that, excuse me. The crash came when the cash came, spend it for you get it like those rookies all on draft day. For the love like it's match game, hit the ground, they really do it for my last name. They act different when the facts change. I'm not with the tip for tag games. In my own league, I don't hang with lane. I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie